Yeah, that's holding it.
We are on.
Oh, the boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. Since 100.
Now, right off the bat, do you put Alex Pereira in the GOAT conversation at the moment?
At the moment, yes.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. Well, I saw something today, and it was not company men, but chasing success. When all of a sudden Conor did it, in the amount of big fights that they had in quite a short period of time, and how rare that is when people actually start making a name. Because Conor's run, you're talking, it was like 360 days, or it's like 367 days. And how many fights? They had both of them, 4 fights, like big selling out, changes of things, quick turnarounds.
Alex is defending though.
And because that was the rise of going through. I think from Aldo, for the Conor one, was from the Aldo into the Eddie Alvarez into the 2 Nate fights.
So, but it's Alex would have to be the biggest name in MMA at the moment, bar Conor.
Yeah.
Bar Conor. But you take Conor out of the equation.
Yeah, but in terms of right now, well, look at what they just did. They replaced Conor with Pereira. Exactly. It was like, what's the best that we can pull in? And now there's the history with Izzy, and now everyone's like, oh, look at the way he knocked him out on the weekend, and then look at
Izzy's the guy at the bar now.
Man.
Izzy's the guy at the bar. He's coming off a bit salty on everything.
Oh, he comes off a bit salty with it all. But then how is that now you've got this trajectory of Adesanya's coming back fighting Drakus, and then
do you care about that fight?
I'm interested to see how it goes. I will definitely be watching.
I reckon Izzy wins.
I think Izzy wins, yeah.
But then
I'd like to see Izzy piece. I'd like to see Izzy style on him. That would be nice, because then it leads into. Hey,
they're not going to give him.
No, but just let Izzy step up to light heavyweight and do a champ thing, and let him have in the fight.
Pereira will murder Izzy on the stride he's on now at that weight.
Yeah, well,
at that weight. At that weight, and he's just on a stride. So I've been saying it for ages. I really want Pereira to go up to heavyweight, because I think he could do some damage up there.
So I know that's obviously got brought up on the weekend as well. And I would just say, I only want to kind of see Pereira for a style test, and where he is to go through Ankalaev. And I know, but if I'm a bit more of a hugger, and then go, if he gets through that, and especially if he fucking murks him, go up to heavyweight and fight Aspinall.
Do you know what I want to see?
Because he ain't fighting Jones.
I want to see Stipe pull out the week before the fight.
And then Pereira steps up?
And then I want to see Pereira step up.
Yeah, do that. Law for it.
Bro,
but then if Bones turned that down, you'd be like,
he wouldn't.
How would you turn down who's like the biggest fight that's going around right now?
John Jones versus Alex Pereira is the biggest fight
right now. Yep.
Ever.
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest fight they could put together right now.
I think it would be the biggest fight ever.
But you know the issue?
Imagine waking up in the morning and knowing you're about to see Alex Pereira fight fucking John Jones at heavyweight.
It'd be wicked, but you know the issue with that? If John's been bulked up the way he has, and what's John going to do? Same thing he did to Cyril Gahn. He's going to grab a hold of that neck or those legs so fast.
But Gustafson's not a better striker than John Jones, and Gustafson teed off on him. So if Alex lands that fucking left hook, which he always lands, even though every single person knows.
They know that's his thing, and he still does it.
He knows. Everyone knows. And he still lands that fucking left hook.
I missed it. I was still... I wasn't paying attention after he landed the left hook at the end of the first, and you see him staggering back.
Bro,
and he's he's not there.
That was the beginning of the end. I didn't realize how much that left hand, that hook affected him.
Well, because Prohajka did the whole. He's on the ground. And he was like, all right.
Then he stood up.
Then he stood up, and then he's staggering around, and it's like, that got you real good.
But he doesn't throw it hard.
No, that's what he said. It doesn't seem like it should create that much power.
But he does, because he doesn't even follow through the head. He just kind of touches him. He just touches him.
It's not a full torque hook. It's just kind of bang.
He's not punching through their head like Tyson's punching through people's heads. No. He's not following through. His shot's not finishing a meter away from their head. He's literally touching them, and they can't fucking handle it.
How is it though? Yeah, just one left hook. You got to just land one. So
switch kick from a dude that that big
I know.
from a dude that big.
That's what I missed. I missed it. All of a sudden, he was down on the ground, and I missed the strike. I thought he'd probably hit him with another left hook, because then he's circling around him and finishing him with punch. I didn't even know he hit him with a switch kick.
That was so quick. It was such a quick...
And then he hurt his toe, because it was pretty much the big toe just bent off the top of his head.
It wasn't his shin.
And then it's come out that he was looking at that, because the way Prochazka was holding his hands and checking leg kicks, he was keeping his hands low.
I do feel bad for Prochazka.
Yeah,
I do feel bad for him.
Well, he said now he's like, I got to get better, or I might as well just not do it anymore. He's in that dark spot right now.
Well,
he's in that bad headspace of after another knockout loss.
There's no light heavyweight that's going to beat Alex.
No, I said to my brother on the weekend.
If Jamal Hill thinks he's going to beat Alex.
I think, between Ankalaev, I want to see where Ankalaev, if he can fight again or get a fight. I think Prochazka's number 2. Like, I think Prochazka is...
He's a gun.
Yeah, he is. He's the number 1. But I just, by the looks of it now, he did worse this time than the first fight against Pereira. Yeah. He landed 30-something significant strikes in the first fight. He landed 7 this time.
Yeah, Pereira was on fire, man. He's just too good at the moment.
And how is it everyone's thinking, like Max Holloway was talking about it on his X, where he's like, if you were going to bet on Yuri, if there was going to be a time for him to beat Pereira, because he was training, he was, he knew about it for a little bit, whereas Pereira was traveling Australia, doing meet and greets. How hard are you really trying? And he can still come on, get better, and turn it on like that, and look like an absolute nightmare of a human.
Even Dana said it I think he said it in the post-fight presser. He didn't even expect Pereira to do what he's doing. Like, he thought, I'll get him in. We'll get a couple fights out of him with Izzy.
See how it goes, yeah.
See how it goes. He might be a fun matchup for some people.
Not that he'd turn into what he has.
He's demolished the UFC in 3 years.
Dude, now...
He's demolished MMA in 3 years.
You've got Just Bleed. Now we have Shamma going around.
Shamma.
Everywhere. And then finally,
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Exactly. Yeah, Rogan had to ask him. He asked him in his post-fight interview, what does Shamma mean? It's essentially us.
It's us.
It's us.
That's the coolest thing of it. I like it even more now.
It's the answer for anything. You want to go train? Us. You want to not train? Us. And he goes, yeah. You want to train? Shamma. You want to not train? Shamma.
It's like...
It's a grunt, a sound. It's something you do.
Let's have a look, actually, at Pereira's resume.
What is it? Yeah, it was only...
Alex Pereira record. Is that in MMA? Yeah,
that would be 11-2. It would definitely be MMA. That's why 11-2, and look at what he's done. His
Here we go. I'll get it up.
His year and a half.
So
his year and a half has been fire.
This is
Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. That didn't happen, did it?
Where?
Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, he beat him.
Has he already fought Jan?
Yeah, he beat him. That was his debut at light heavyweight, wasn't it? And everyone was like, "Oh, Izzy didn't beat him, but Pereira did."
Right. Fuck, I forgot about that fight.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of Jan as well. After we were talking about Ankalaev, I was like, maybe Jan. He's already fucking beat Jan. That's right, because Izzy lost to Jan, and everyone's like, the weights, he is too big. And then Pereira stepped up and did it.
My eyes are bad.
Yeah.
What year's that?
2021.
So he made November 6th, 2021 was his debut.
Yep.
And now on June 29th,
2024,
he has fucking stolen a division.
He went up. When everyone asked questions, how did he make it to fucking middleweight when he can look he looks like this at light heavyweight? And then people are like, he's got triple champ.
He's got heavyweight in him.
He could do heavyweight.
He's not small. He's not small for it.
They say he's thick. So he'd be what, 235?
I think he weighed in. I think he walked in at 236.
So 236.
So he gained 31 pounds.
Yeah, it's nuts. 30, and how did he ever
get 15
down?
kilo.
How did he ever get down to middleweight?
That's 14 kilo, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Yeah, tell me about that. So that makes you think, though, but then the co-main was the same. You had Diego Lopez had to weigh in at 3 separate weights over 2 days.
Yeah.
He did 146. Then he came in at 151 because Ortega was going to come in at 155 because he had an illness. And then all of a sudden it gets pulled on the day. It gets pulled 3 hours before.
I was really looking forward to that fight.
So was I. Yeah, I was looking forward to the ground scrambles.
Like I said, I reckon I called the Pereira fight. I did say he was going to knock him out in the second. But
did you put money on it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was up like 300-400 that day.
Oh, bang.
Yeah.
Sav goes bang for the gambling.
Yeah, I put Pfeiffer for the first round KO, I believe.
Yep. That was good. The first...
I think Pfeiffer just had a shit. He just was the nail and he wasn't used to being the nail in his last fight.
Well, they said that. Like, he didn't hit him with that... he couldn't hit him with that clean power shot because his power, it doesn't even necessarily have to be clean, but Hermansson kind of danced around him for a few rounds waiting to gas him out.
Hermansson's fucking good gatekeeper.
He's a good gatekeeper. He's very good. He's awkward on the feet and he's a really good grappler.
He's like a not as good RDA.
He's a not as good RDA. Yeah.
But RDA is the ultimate gatekeeper. If you can beat RDA, you're probably going to fight for a title.
Well, they even talked about it. It was like, you just got to get it out of the first, second round with Pfeiffer. And now it's just whether or not, because he just tactically, if you know you've got that kind of power, you can't just throw 100% power. No, that's not what he's known for. He's a stand-up fucking crack. And he's timing though on the way to find that shot. He hit that bloke on the temple. Barrio. And then how is it though that he staggers people? How many of these shots it happened to Johnny Walker the other week? They finish him with those shovel uppercuts when they're already on the ground, and it flatlines them.
No, Ozdemir, that was pent up rage. That's what that was.
Dude, how was he flatlined?
That was fucking. I am sick of getting fucking knocked out and losing, and you are about to die, cunt.
Ozdemir only got knocked out once.
Didn't he? Isn't he on a 4-fight skid?
He'd lost decisions, but then I feel he came back and had a win after he had a massive injury layoff. He was off like 2 years with an injury.
Why is it that Johnny Walker gets knocked out in the most hilarious fashion?
He had the fallback with Jamal
It's
Hill.
not hilarious, but like...
Oh, he has bad knockouts now.
He has bad reactions.
And now the issue is that's what anyone ever talks about. He could be like super... And people are talking about maybe go up to heavyweight so you don't have to cut the weight because he's 6'6" or 6'7".
Bro, he's fucking...
He's had a lot of knockouts in the UFC.
Was it Jamal that it was like a 2-second delay? And he fucking...
Yeah, because he hit him on the temple and he does the whole fling back and then his neck's crumpled against the cage.
Yeah, that Ozdemir one had some hate behind it.
He was so hurt.
So super necessary.
He was super necessary. He was hurt on the feet and then it was just then the second he gets cracked and he goes to the ground and then Ozdemir, before the ref could step in, cracked him with that shovel uppercut when dude's already on the ground and pretty much going, and it just sleeps him. It was...
Do you know who we were talking about the other day?
What?
That has the most underrated... I didn't realise his resume is fucking fire. This Michel Pereira.
Yeah, Michel Pereira, the guy that danced around, that used to gas so hard by dancing too hard.
His record, he's on like a fucking 8-fight winning streak.
Yeah, well, because he had issues making weight. That was a whole issue with it.
Yeah, but there you go.
So... Yeah, he lost to Diego Sanchez, but that was by when he was beating the shit out of him. Yeah, he was beating the shit out of him. Back when Diego was with his old coach. I don't know. Tristan Connolly, I don't even know who that is. That might want to guess.
Is that Chaos Williams?
Yeah, I think that's Chaos
Williams. Nico Price. Andre Filau. He's fucking out of the UFC now, but he beat Ponzinibbio, who's good.
Yeah.
Andre fucking Petrosky.
Yeah. And then the Olachechik.
And he's doing it.
And then he beat the dude that knocked out Shogun in his last fight and then did that stupid TikTok dance on him or whatever. How rude.
But I just like how they're just giving him they're just giving him, they're like, no, you don't need to fight top 10, you're fun.
Yes, he is, because he comes in, now he's calmed it down a little with all the dancing fighter. And he still backflips off after he weighs in, he still backflips everywhere. He's a crazy man.
Wasn't the best card on the weekend, no, was it? It was. No. There was that women's fight with that girl. Literally, was it Silva?
Yeah, Bueno Silva.
That literally her skull was hanging out of her fucking head.
Yeah, she copped an elbow on the ground, and it was immediately that dark globular ran down her face, and it was like, oh, and then they stood up. She complained, made a whole deal of it. But I was watching the fights, and then I was like, I don't think it's that bad. And then it panned as they wiped the towel over it, and it was like, oh, that is deep. That is your seeing skull. That is, you can't just keep going with that. Because then they're like, oh, they keep going. And my first thought was like, you can get a plastic surgeon in after it. But then you're not thinking, you get on the ground again, so don't worry about blood running out of it. But then you keep hitting a wound. Like, you're going to... Do you just start melting people's faces? Like a cut that's that big, that would just be disgusting. It wasn't Marvin Eastman versus Vitor Belfort, UFC in the 40s, because the Rogan actually said on the broadcast, it looks like a goat's vagina.
Ugh.
That's how deep and fleshy it bloody looked.
Oh, there was one not recently. It was
The one on the weekend I saw, there was a clip, I think it was in the PFL, a dude leant into a knee and his head exploded on top. Like essentially he had the center just go and shoot open off. You see it on the knee. That was another bad one from on the weekend.
Wasn't it Cyborg in Bellator, the male Cyborg that got his skull
crushed
open?
by MVP, where you hit him with a flying knee.
Speaking of,
and then threw a pokeball at him.
I called that fight was going to go like that.
We all said it was either going to be a banger or it was going to be a boring snooze fest, and Ian Gary decides to wrestle.
Gary does not care about what the fans want.
He does not give a shit.
But it's a good way to fight.
Yeah. Like, it was smart.
He knows how to win.
Yeah, it was smart. He had Demi Amaya in his corner. He's been training in Brazil, training with his Brazilian fans.
That's just how you have to beat MVP. It would be so frustrating to fucking strike.
Well, but in the third round, it was 4 significant strikes landed to 8.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not let down by the fight because that's what I expected of it.
Yeah. I thought I would have been surprised if it was a wicked back and forth because, yeah. Well, look at him. He hit Gary. MVP hit Gary with some, like when he was hitting him, he hit him with some decent stuff. But you cannot expect to win a fight with that minimal output. Even if you're dancing and he's not hitting you that much, because then he's just controlling you, and then you're not remembering the few good strikes you had because there was so few and far between.
Well, unfortunately, they're both counter strikers.
Yeah, that's why they don't want to do Wonder Boy Thompson versus MVP as well.
It's like watching them just Yoel and fucking Izzy, the worst styles to match up together.
Might as well watch the gold medal match at a Taekwondo under 50 kilo female division. It would be boring as batshit.
Yeah, there's just not. Oh fuck! I'm so upset Khalil didn't fight.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Khalil versus Jamal, and then Khalil got hurt, and then Jamal was going to verse.
Wasn't it the other way around? Wasn't Khalil Olberg? Or was it
Khalil Olberg?
Or was it Jamal Olberg? I thought Jamal pulled out.
Oh, which one was it first? But I don't know. That's how it ended up, though. Someone got hurt. I swear it was Khalil. Khalil got hurt first, and then it set up, and then because then Olberg pulled out. And then it was Anthony Smith stepped up, and then all of a sudden, and then Delidze steps in.
That was a shit fight too.
And then it was Delidze as a middleweight outstriking the light heavyweight.
The fuck's wrong with Anthony Smith?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that fight was just. And then he dances in front of him, and then
DC was getting
calls him out, and just being like, "I would have punched him in the face if he starts doing that. What are you doing? Kick him in the leg and then point and laugh at him."
That card really crumbled, eh?
Because what you had. Yeah, the co-main was, and then that was so we'll have to go to the prelims then. So Joe Pyfer was a good knockout.
Jourdain got knocked out too?
Jourdain got stopped by Gene Silver. But then that's the dude from the Fighting Nerds, and he was just hugging everyone. He hugged Bruce Buffer when he announced him. He kept crying all the time.
It was an emotional card.
It was an emotional card. Born Silver starts crying. I was like, what?
They all thought they were going to be on a Connor card.
Yeah, shit. Gary would have been crying the most.
Fuck.
Crocodile tears out the back, mate. He was like, I set up this whole thing just to be on the card with Connor, and then it all fell through. As a bit of a grappling fan as well, the second fight on the prelims, that new Japanese fighter, he fought that Carlos Hernandez.
Yes.
And he had the Japanese fella, had the WWE bloody superstar in his corner.
What's his name? Where is he?
He was the second fight of the night.
Early prelims?
Yeah. Right there he is. Ryu Surya? Yeah, Ryu Surya. But he was doing his 10th planet, mate. He was doing twister rolls into and setting it. He got 80% into a twister. And then he just lost the leg position as he got the arm behind the back of the neck, and he was looking for the twister. He was using twister rolls all the way, mate. It's a weird way to control someone.
Where's the... One sec. Where is the Talbot fight? Is that on the earlies? That was on the earlies.
No, that was on the prelims.
That was before Feely.
That was before Feely versus Swanson.
Peyton Talbot.
Peyton Talbot versus a new guy. Peyton Talbot spent 2 weeks with himself and his producer making a 20-minute video, which they then translated into French for his opponent on how to beat himself.
And then gave it to him.
And gave it to him. Released it online and translated it into French when he was talking about how to push him, how to, don't throw one strike at a time, and then translated it to French so this French guy understood it.
Look, it really
and
wasn't.
then he knocked him out still in 19 seconds.
It's impressive as fuck, but like it wasn't a great strike. The other guy was just not on his level.
No.
He needs definitely a better opponent to see, because that he shouldn't be able to win a fight. Like, you know what I mean?
But the fact that he showed that's what people are hoping for.
He's got one punch knockout power.
He's got some hype behind him now, and it was what he did, which it was hilarious when DC was like, I don't know who this kid is. How is he the odds? How is he such an odd, the odds were so stacked for him. And it was like, DC, you called his last fight against Cameron Simon, who's the South African that trains with Dricus, who was looking really good. Had a bunch of good fights against good opponents.
Was this his debut in the UFC, wasn't he?
Who, Peyton Talbot or the other guy?
No, Peyton's. Or was he? No, he's a contender series.
Yeah, he's a contender series guy. I think this was his third
fight.
I think it was his third fight in the UFC. Because then I think he had Cameron Simon in his second, and he beat the brakes off of Cameron Simon, and he's a good young kid. He's a good up-and-comer, trains well, was looking very well-rounded. And Peyton Talbot smoked him.
Yeah, this is his third fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Submission KO.
Yep. So he's looking he's looking good so far. You don't say he's the truth, but people are loving the story. He's a weird unit.
He's strange. He's got the tism.
He's got that tism. He likes the villain arc. Like, he's obviously into movies. He's like, I want to be like, he's like the Joker.
I reckon him and Mikey Musumeci would be mates.
Oh my.
Shout out to Mikey on CJI.
He signed up with CJI. Does that mean it's just going to be a super fight, or is he going into the under 80? We haven't heard yet, have we? We have to wait.
No, he's doing a super fight.
Is he? Yeah.
It's common knowledge, but who?
Yeah, but who? That's true. Yeah, who? Because they got Fionn Davies versus Mackenzie Dern. Banger.
I have some.
Oh, he's got some gossip we can't say on here. He's too much insider info when you know brothers of people organising it.
All I'm going to say is if Craig pulls off what I've heard he wants to pull off, in other areas as well.
Oh, no. like pull off?
Yeah, no, if he pulls off the fights he wants to pull off at CJI, it is going to very quickly become the biggest spectacle in jiu-jitsu forever.
Look at how quickly it turned from it's a joke.
He's turning it into the UFC of he's doing what the UFC did for MMA with jiu-jitsu. Yeah. We're watching it in real time.
Yeah.
He's doing what Dana and the Fertittas did to MMA to jiu-jitsu.
Blowing it up.
He's introducing a 10-point must system.
Yeah, he's doing an MMA style for point scoring.
Which is, do you know what? It's more approachable because the point system in fucking jiu-jitsu is terrible. It's so unapproachable for a casual fan.
Yeah, I'll say this out in public, man. I'm a black belt. I don't even understand the point system.
There shouldn't, and the point system's so easily manipulative. Like that, if you can stall and you can just become really good at trying to win on points.
Win on points. It almost goes to the ethos of the difference in grappling between why gi and why no gi picked up, because then all of a sudden it was the submission hunters. It was like, it doesn't matter if you get one spot, get your set of points, and then just the ability to hold and pin someone. Now,
I feel like EBI also did massive for jiu-jitsu.
They paved all those with Eddie, the EBIs, everything that then Fight Pass invests money into to put on grappling tournaments. They're doing the Fight Pass Invitationals now. I
really like the overtime rule in EBI.
They do big calls to force action, and they're constantly. Sometimes it seems a little much to me where they're calling being action. You're like, oh, you don't understand. They're trying, because there's been so long and if you're trying to pull in fans that don't necessarily, because Craig's talked about it. He goes, who watches jiu-jitsu tournaments? People that already mostly train jiu-jitsu.
No one's going to turn it on and be like, oh, this is a cool sport.
Which means you're only ever going to hit a very finite market. And if you're trying to be as big...
And it's so hard to fucking watch. You have to have you got to have fight. It's just bullshit.
Well, Fight Pass is hard enough now. We can't even get fucking... you can't even get pay-per-views direct through the service that they had it with. I have to go to the pub. I go back to the pubs now.
I go
meet up with my brother at the pub.
Last UFC was the first one I bought in ages because I legally stream them now.
Do you reckon that they forked out that much money because maybe after COVID, and then everyone used to go to the bars and then everything, and how many issues and bars closed down? Then they go, oh, how about we do it so we can get patrons back on to get people back into the bars.
Do you know where I reckon the UFC will end up? And I actually am pretty excited if it happens. I reckon they're going to end up on Netflix.
Well, if they're already... Netflix is already dabbling with trying to get this Jake Paul, Mike Tyson shit, which when it happens...
One sec. Just one sec. Hold that thought. All right, we are back. We were just... Sorry, I had to run fucking Goobsy's heater out.
So I was like, what is that? He grabs a portable heater and runs it out.
So we were talking about how I think the UFC is going to go to Netflix.
Netflix. Reaching the biggest audience and streaming services.
Well, it's just their interface is so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy. KO and the UFC app are fucking terrible.
Awful.
Like, terrible.
How they've never actually made the UFC app.
And it's annoying.
Better.
You got to go on your phone. You got to go to main event KO or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Then you got to order it, and then it's got to go through. You can't just go on KO and just buy the fucking event.
Well, that's what we were talking about before, though, right? I'm like, did the Aussie government and the retail lobbies and everyone with the issues with COVID and getting people back to pubs?
How much they paid them. I would love to know how much KO paid the UFC to get the rights to that.
Well, did I hear something? Why do I have a thought in my head? It was like 30 or 50 million.
I can tell you right now. Wait up.
There was just... It always happens this way, though, mate. Throw enough cash at it, and it just, don't worry about the fact that you were working for direct to consumer and reaching all this. Now it's like, nah, if you come with a nice lump sum, I mean, that's what all startups done with, right? They're waiting to get bought out by the bigger fish and give me enough cash and everyone gets happy. Lines and purses, everyone's good.
Yeah, it's just like...
Might be hard to find.
Yeah, I don't imagine
I don't know if they'd want to... Yeah, I don't know if they'd want to be that open with it. Just says multi-year deal.
Does that say 15 years?
The deal is a continuation of a 15-year relationship with the mixed martial arts promotion.
They're not gonna say. I would say it would have to be in the 100.
You reckon the 100? I think it'd be like 30 or 50 million for Australian. Like, just it's fucking over us.
For the Australian
It's fucking over the Aussie markets, mate. This isn't everyone, because we were getting cheaper pay-per-views direct over here. Because remember, we used to hear about not the Disney Plus, the ESPN Plus over there. You had to have the ESPN Plus. That's exactly what we have now. You have to have the KO.
Jackasses.
And we were like, that's stupid. Why would you do it like that? And we had it direct, and now all of a sudden, that's why.
Can you still buy it on PlayStation? You used to get discount.
Maybe.
I don't
have a PlayStation.
Because you used to be able to buy it on PlayStation, and if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you used to get it like $10 cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got it cheaper here than what they were getting it over there. And
if you have UFC Fight Pass, you should get fucking 4 free pay-per-views a year.
Well, you think you pay enough to get it, and the fact they've made it hard where you can't just get it direct now. If you're going to pay for the Fight Pass, watch the prelims, watch all the content you're going to put on there.
You should be able to choose which 4 you get. You should have 4 free pay-per-views a year.
Yeah, they'll never do that.
They'll never do that. They'll lose too much money.
Yeah, they're not running on that level anymore.
Well, what other fucking sport has people paying $20 a month to watch Fight Pass prelims?
Well, it's the idea of that if you're
you can
really
find the whole catalog on YouTube.
So
now.
the fight library is the initial thing, but then you can
find it on YouTube.
Well, this is what you've talked about. Well, we've talked about with monopolizing something though, because then they buy out all the small leagues. So they've got LFA, and then for grappling, they've started their own promotions. They buy little ones here, but then because they need more content. Because it also, if they're going to fuck you over and you can't actually buy the UFC pay-per-views on the UFC Fight Pass app, and you've got to sort out other shit, then what are you paying for it for?
Power slap.
Don't even start with fucking smushing that over and it all being the same thing. And then Dana's just doubling down all the time going, it's going to be the biggest fucking thing in the world. It's like, mate, your TikTok algorithm...
He loves power slap.
Your TikTok algorithm is probably telling you that.
He loves power slap so much. He really fucking loves power slap.
And it is though, because who said it? Where it was like, yeah, well, if you're scrolling through your feed, who's not going to watch when someone just slaps the piss out of someone else? Of course, you just slap them because it's 5 seconds. They line up, whack, and it's like, did they take it? Yeah,
How
cool.
shit is Paige Van Zandt?
What do you mean?
She's gone to power slap.
She did power slap
after she lost to that fucking prostitute.
The boxer.
Yeah,
she wasn't. She OnlyFans, man.
Oh.
Prostitute.
Or like whatever. Like what a fucking. You used to be
Ebony Bridges or who's that?
I don't fucking know.
Sorry, man.
I don't know, but like
she lost to her in boxing, but Ebony Bridges has been training boxing. Yeah. She was trained to be a boxer.
Oh, it's just wild to me. She
does bits of everything, mate. But
imagine
meanwhile,
she just got slapped and then she's just like, oh.
Well, she was looking at it. She beat the shit out of the other girl.
Did she?
Yeah. She smacked her, and the girl stumbled and had to take a knee.
How much would someone have to pay to do a slap fight?
Me?
Did you do it for $5,000?
Ooh, $5,000.
Cash money.
Oh, that would suck so bad to do a slap fight though.
Yeah, it would.
Might do.
What do you weigh?
82.
So you get down to 78 for your power slap debut. You're just a big motherfucker that way.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, I was about. Yeah, wouldn't have to. Yeah. I don't want to do slap fight, mate.
Dude, Miles slapped me once and knocked my tooth out.
Yeah, I know. My whole thing was like my teeth. I was like, I don't want my teeth rattled around.
It hurts way more than getting punched.
Yeah. Oh, because who did it? There was an illegal strike is clubbing, right? And it's when you just palm them because there's obviously you've got to get them with the you're getting.
Can
them
you
with
still
the palm.
do that in the UFC?
What, palm people?
Like if a motherfucker comes up to you, you can just fucking palm him in the nose.
You can palm them.
How come no one does it?
Because
a punch is probably more effective.
I was about to say, well, Bas Rutten used to do it back in Pancrase, right?
He used to learn
because he learned how to flick his wrist back so he could full palm because they could only use open hands.
Did you watch the Tank Abbott podcast?
I watched about 45 minutes, and then I was just like,
you got 45 minutes
about
in.
45 minutes in, yeah.
15.
Start shitting on bloody Big John McCarthy for a while. He starts losing track of everything. I'm very surprised Rogan could keep it together because I was like, what's going on?
I was like, after 15 minutes, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like, don't need this. Yeah, he jumped around a little bit. He's looking a little worse for wear. But Tank Abbott, I mean, legend, the old pit fighter. I'll never forget my favourite fighter is Frank Mir. And so when Frank Mir bloody footlocked him after he got the shit beat out of him by Ian Freeman over in
his daughter's
she's a
now.
very promising wrestler. She's got a wrestling scholarship.
She's got an MMA career now.
She did a few amateur fights, and I think Frank was like, go the wrestling route. You can get to the amateurs if you make your name and make a good name in wrestling.
And make $90.
I think Frank's good with money because he's podcasting. He does commentary for over in Russia.
Do you watch the Jackson pod?
No, I do. No, I don't watch it, but I watch clips. Like it comes up on my clip feed.
It's fucking good.
It's good. They get big people on. Obviously,
I don't know
Jackson
who that guy is.
No, but he makes the necklaces, right?
I don't know
because they're all sponsored by it, and they make these big, thick necklaces.
I think he just does cocaine and likes fighting, but so do I.
Who does it? I mean, it sounds like a pretty great way to live, if you ask me.
But that Moicano and Burns podcast is also fucking excellent.
Yeah, there's good ones coming up.
There is.
That's why. But we'll get back to it. So we said Peyton Talbot, and you were like, the
Yanez fight is such a good call out.
So
man.
That's what I wanted to say. So then he called out Adrian Yanez, who
2-fight skid or 3? 3-fight skid.
Yanez won his last one after being on a 2-fight skid.
Did he?
I think he did. Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
I'm a little bit sure. Yeah. Yeah, he did. He won his last fight.
Did.
Yep, because before that he lost to who's the guy that lost to Aldo?
Martinez.
By leg
kicks.
He leg kicked him.
And Yanez has, when he's on, some of the nicest hands you'll ever see.
Some of the sweetest boxing in the UFC. He's very it comes up with Peyton Talbot because he goes top 20. These are guys trying to break into the top 15, and they're on the cusp. Peyton there you go. Boom.
Rob Font beat the fuck out of him.
Rob Font as well. But look at that. Rob Font and then Jonathan Martinez. And Martinez after that, and looking how he did against Yanez, got Aldo. So Yanez is good as he's sniffing the top 15.
That's a huge step up for Talbot.
That's why. And then Talbot calls him out and he's so honest with his opinions because he's like, you think you're top 20 trying to get up there. Yeah. I think I'm already there. I think we go for it. Yanez gave him the eyes on the X. So it seems like doesn't mind the call out. If UFC could, there you go. Job made for you. That's what makes Talbot like unique. shot. He's honest about it, but he's a weird unit because then he's weirdly dark. He's got a lot of dark humor to him.
Yeah, he's Mikey Mixon.
He's got some of the worst tattoos in history. I mean, why you got a black dot on your chest and your back? Just a black filled in dot.
That's when you know someone's a psychopath.
See? That's what I'm saying. He's got this villain arc in him where it's just like, what the fuck? But meanwhile, his fighting skills are second to none. Like, what he's shown right now is ultra impressive. So he could kick off to that next thing. He's got enough going for him. He can get the push from the UFC. If he gets Yanez and then he can go out and be as impressive against Yanez, when Yanez has had his little of his ups and downs, as we see, had his losses. He lost his coach to COVID. He essentially was running a team when he wasn't ready. He's still trying to train for fights, but he's essentially running the gym after Sol Solis passed away. And then I think he moved because then he had, what was it? Who's the guy? Is it from Colorado? Safe Sode. I want to say he's got Safe Sode. He's training up there now. I think that's where he is. But whoever he's training, all of a sudden he come out and he was starting to look the goods again in his last fight after the 2-fight skid, which, again, good competition. Rob Font and Jonathan Martinez.
Rob Font, I just remember, beat the fuck out of him. He knocked him out really bad.
Yeah. It was just he's so well. Look at this. Well, you talk about it in UFC, right? Who you've already fought. Yanez trying to break in the top 20, top 15. Rob Font, wasn't he at like 4 or 3? He's fought Sandhagen. He's fought Merab, hasn't he? He's fought everyone in 135.
I really am interested to see O'Malley and Merab.
Yeah.
I don't know
if O'Malley can keep Merab off him.
Well, no, he's gonna land because Merab rushes in and he's fucking pretty easy to hit when he comes in. He just chain wrestles you.
He's got to get in, and that's exactly
it's getting in.
The fact that O'Malley could do that to Aljo after he hurt his rib 6 weeks out and could not grapple and was just like, when he touches you, it's fire. So don't even let him get his hands around you. And he did that with Aljo and didn't get grabbed. And if you look at Merab, I'm assuming has gotten better, but when you look at the skill sets to him, and he could do that to Aljo, the training partner, and Merab he got the shit beat out of him in that first round against Brazilian Moraes, against Marlon Moraes.
Yeah, he almost got knocked out.
He almost got knocked out
pretty
3
much
times.
Knocked out for a minute and a half.
He got knocked out. He did the old stagger back and fell and back
and he
rolled.
fucked him.
And he wrestled, and then he gassed Moraes.
Yeah.
O'Malley, if he tags you like that, he ain't gassing like Moraes. And so if you get cracked
if he tags you like that, it's over.
So
if O'Malley wobbles you, you're not escaping that. I don't feel.
He's just again slick.
But
so you look at these up and comers as always. When a division starts to, you're looking at and talking about slowing divisions. We'll get to heavyweight after that and some absolute snoozers that were on the weekend. But also looking at like what else is at heavyweight? There's fucking nothing there.
It's a shit division.
There's nothing there. It's the shallowest division. They're trying to build stars.
Aspinall's going to reign that division for a long time.
Because even then, what's old is new again. Volkov comes in and beats the shit out of the up and comer Pavlovich.
Well, everyone thought that Robelis or whatever was going to be the next coming of fucking heavyweight.
Romanov, right? King Kong.
No, the African dude from France, the French African guy.
Oh, Garn, Cyril Garn.
No, Robelis. The 2.1 meter reach.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, the taekwondo guy.
Everyone thought he was going to be the next coming.
That Hector dude, the old former baseball player he was. And then he just wrestled him, held him down, and then everyone was like, oh, he's got no way to get up. He doesn't even know how to wall walk.
No.
He doesn't understand if his back's on the cage.
Which is so confusing because he could sit down and he would be almost at the top of the cage.
Use your giant arms to just post all the way up.
You have the longest arms in the world, cunt. Just put your arm on the floor and just go like this.
Yeah, it's rough because then we were saying before, so Arlovsky fought, was he on the last fight of the Fight Pass prelims?
Yeah, he was, and he basically got a fuck you from the UFC.
Yeah, so he has been in the UFC.
No, he wasn't on the last fight. That was Waterson.
Waterson would I'm talking the Fight Pass prelims.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, was she? Waterson, she was the last one of the Fight Pass prelims.
I'll double check right now.
It was because I was still watching it at home. Yeah, no, you'd be right.
Here we go. Fight Pass prelims.
No,
Arlovsky was before.
Just before that. So they gave a send off to Michelle Waterson Gomez. It gave her a package. She lost the fight. She got the shit beat out of by Gillian Robinson. Gillian Robinson's ground game is wicked for that division.
I don't know why they wouldn't just put her on the prelims. They know it's going to be her last fight.
Yeah, exactly. But they gave her a highlights package. They gave her Rogan gave her the interview. Arlovski lost a split decision to Martin Budai, and it was an absolute snoozer. And all throughout the commentary team is just calling like, oh, this is a clinch fight. It's like they're just holding onto each other onto the cage.
Arlovski's had fucking 58 fights, bro.
I don't know who had...
No, he's had 60. That was his 60th.
His 60th?
That was his 60th.
Who had... I wonder... I don't even want to worry about pulling it up, but because the amount of strikes landed, significant strikes landed in the MVP versus Gary was like 10 versus 12.
The whole fight?
The whole fight. Yeah, exactly. Snooze fest. This might have been less. Like, it was so bad.
I don't know if they come up. Here you go.
See, so, there you go. Look at so many more. 74 to 119 to 54 to 84. So they were throwing, but there was...
Are you serious with the Gary fight?
Dude, it was... There was a stupid number of... Look at that. 19 to 21.
Whoa, Dana would not be happy about that.
21.
Dana's not going to be happy about that.
That's why Gary's grappling with him. He's just holding him down.
Gary's getting a bad matchup his next fight. Who's a bad matchup for him?
For Gary at welterweight.
At welter?
Welter.
Burns.
Colby Covington.
Burns.
They want to make Colby Covington, but it was this whole...
fuck Colby. Just don't get him to fight anymore. He just thinks he's fucking bigger than he is. He never fights.
Yeah, well, who was the last guy that Colby fought then? And he lost.
Wasn't it Edwards?
Was it Edwards?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's right. After a long time off.
Yeah, he hasn't.
There's a lot of that.
Fought since Edwards.
There's a lot of that now, but Gary, like you said, he doesn't give a shit about what the public thinks about him.
Well, he wants to be a champ.
Yeah, but he's looking at it like I want to be in the GOAT, the champ, and then I want to be in the GOAT status. I want to be when you're talking GSP, John Jones, Ian Machado, Gary, and it's like, I understand you're on the up and up, mate.
You need to do amazing things.
But there is so many things to be in that conversation. You have to be impressive for a long period of time.
There's a reason
champs come in, but
there's a reason why Khabib isn't considered a GOAT to a lot of people.
There's a lot of people now that they compare like Khabib. A lot of things.
Khabib's resume is not that good. Like, it's not amazing.
I've seen a lot with the prove me wrong. Pereira is higher on the GOAT status than Khabib.
He is. But he is.
But the issue is the division that Khabib was in, the style that he was doing it in by the end. He was ragdolling people.
Yeah, he's beating the shit out of people.
People couldn't do shit about it. The issue is he didn't hang around long enough and he didn't defend it against enough people.
Yeah, so there's a mysticism to it, I guess.
Yeah, that's why you're leaving it with the...
I'm not shitting on Khabib's record at all. I'm just saying
29-0.
What Pereira's doing is way more impressive to me.
See what? Impressive.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily because
we're not boxers. We don't care about your record. We don't care about the O. The O means nothing.
That's what they've said a lot more about boxing in comparison to MMA.
Like, we don't give a fuck about the O.
How many more do you lose a fight in MMA and then people go, they'll benefit from this. They've looked at something, Joe Pfeiffer on the weekend, or when he lost to Hermanson, and all of a sudden he comes back and knocks the guy out, and it's...
O's don't matter. Have a look at Max Holloway. He's got fucking... Yeah, he doesn't have an O.
No, he doesn't have an O. And again, excitement to... You want to watch them. It's at the end of the day, they're prize fighters, and we pay to watch them compete. And
here's one. Luke on the fucking podcast, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It pisses me off so much. He looked at me dead in the eye and he said, Whittaker has a way more impressive resume than Volkanovski.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
A way more impressive resume than Volk.
Yeah, and he had a harder run to the title.
Whittaker had a harder run to the title than Volkanovski.
He reckons.
I couldn't say a run.
He reckons Whittaker's run was more impressive.
Whittaker did have an impressive run to get to the title when he knocked out Brad Tavares, and then he knocked out, there was Jacare.
Yeah, got you.
He had a good. It was impressive because there was decisions, but then all of a sudden he got on a run of knockouts. And look, they were saying, look at him. Even when he loses, though,
he doesn't have a good. Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't have a good record,
because they were saying even when he lost 2 there. He'll go back down back in the day. So what was that?
Thompson. That was when he was down weight.
Oh, there you go. So down in weight.
Yeah, this is before he moved up.
Yep. So he lost at welterweight, and then he lost to Thompson. Then he moved up, and then look at that win streak. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Lost to Izzy.
And then he lost to Izzy. So he had a 9-fight win streak. Yoel Romero, Jacare Souza, Brunson. He's beaten the shit out of all those guys.
He has a better resume than Volkanovski.
But then looking at it, it was decisions.
He does.
So then it was decision Darren Till. He hurt Cannonier, but he still decisioned him. He decisioned Gaslam, so then he almost did the GSP. Now he's like all of a sudden but then his last fight he fought Alaskarov after Chimaev pulled out, and then everyone just talks about the setups, like how he feinted him, and after the third feint he had his timing down. He knew he was going to that lead kick. He kept throwing the lead left kick every time Whittaker was feinting him, and then he timed it, hit him with the right hand, and then cracked him with the uppercut, and it was all done and dusted in 2 minutes.
All right, so there might be some weight to what he's saying now.
So there you go. So look at
at
that. Because he was like 20, wasn't he 22 fights undefeated or some shit? So there you go. So where's the UFC start?
Up here. Wait, no.
PW, no, keep going. UFC Fight Night, Hunt versus Lewis. No, before that, there you go. So there. UFC Fight Night 101.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He had a 12-fight win streak in the UFC, and he defended the title. Where is that now? Go back down. So Aldo. No, it wasn't against Aldo, so Holloway.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He defended 5 title defenses.
Did Whittaker ever defend?
Yes, he
successfully?
Defended. Yes, against Yoel Romero. Yep.
I don't know. That's a much of a muchness to me. I just really favor Volk. I don't know. Yeah.
He's more your size.
He's my favorite fighter.
Those two. They're the cream of the crop of Australian MMA
and combat sports. They're the cream of crop of fucking Australian combat. They're fucking. They're some of the best athletes to come out of Australia.
Yeah.
In any field.
Well, the sheer fact they still talk about Whittaker, I heard that he wanted, and it was good enough he was going to go on the Australian national wrestling team. And the UFC was like, yeah, cool story.
He probably couldn't. He probably could in Australia.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying. He would make it. Like with his skills in wrestling, he'd probably make it.
I reckon if Dricus beats Izzy, they would have to do the Strickland Dricus rematch. If
Dricus beats Izzy, you think it'll be the Dricus Strickland? That's what they say. But that's why the thought is Strickland said he won't take a fight against Whittaker.
But why would he?
But we've talked about it. It seems to be the fight that makes sense right now. Meanwhile, though, that cancels out the trajectory, and rightly so.
But how many times are you going to give
points? Then Whittaker obviously will have the long-term claim.
Why is Izzy getting a title shot?
Because he's Izzy.
Yeah, but
they've talked about this though. The Izzy to step straight back in because of the body of work he'd already done. This is the epitome of
Strickland. Fucking could have won that if it went the other way. No one would have fucking batted an eyelid.
And that is what Strickland says, and he's right. It's just a point of view. But it's one point of view, and it's the UFC's point of view and Hunter Campbell's point of view that fucking matter.
I'm not hating on Izzy at all, but he has been kissed on the dick with fucking title shots.
Again, he was another one though that he was the star of the UFC when Conor stepped away. Izzy stepped into tried to fill the shoes.
He's done a massive U-turn in the popularity department.
Oh, a little bit. Just depends on who you ask.
What do we got here?
So here we go.
So when did he had the title? All three here.
Where did he have that title?
Yeah, he had it here. He lost to Young. No, that went up in weight.
It wasn't Gastelum. The Gastelum was an interim.
Yeah.
And then he fought Whittaker there for the main. So there you go.
So 1, 2, 3,
and then he lost to Yarn when he went up to light heavyweight.
Six successful title defenses. Then he lost it to Pereira.
Yeah.
Then he got it back from Pereira. Yeah. Then he lost it to Sean Strickland. So now he's going to get a shot at Dricus. That does not make any fucking sense whatsoever.
Again, kissed on the dick and body of work from before, and probably favours that he did for the UFC when UFC was struggling.
And he's a very active champ, but I wouldn't take the Robert Whittaker fight either if I was Strickland. Why the fuck would you take that fight?
And the issue, again, we'll go back to the monopoly of it. When Hunter Campbell then calls up, as they've done of that behind the cage, there was a doco released on it, and the people clipped it and showed what they made Aljo take the O'Malley fight when he had all the neck issues. Because it was just, again, if we've talked about this. They'll give you a bad matchup the next time if you don't play ball.
Yeah,
what's going to happen to Kevin Gastelum now after his weight cut debacle?
He should get cut.
Did you hear what?
Did you see the Taco video?
Yes. Yeah, he's got a show called Not Making Weight.
How fucking retarded is he?
He's a little bit you know.
But like,
it's not smart overall. It's not smart for his business, like a business sense at all.
He should cut him. You should be
But
cut.
did you hear what Daniel Rodriguez got?
No.
So he got a 6-fight contract extension, a pay increase on top of that, and he got 30% of Gastelum's purse.
Good. D-Rod's a mad dog.
And that's why D-Rod was like, even when you lose sometimes, I tell you, I'm walking to this airport to catch his plane back home, and he goes, feel like a winner right now. And I was like, that's why. UFC, and they've been known about it, but that's, the pros and cons of it all. They can help out the people when you do them a solid. If you fuck them over...
Gastelum could be a weight class below.
That's been spoken about his whole career. He should be 170. But the man eats his tacos. He's got YouTube channels about eating food. Mate, just if you being a pro fighter,
he's such a what if.
He's a what?
He's such a what if.
His handle on X is on a mission for gold.
That Izzy fight was one of the best fights ever.
Well, mate, round 5 when they went at it. I'm willing to die in here.
That's one of the best fights ever. Like,
why? Because people got hurt. Like, Izzy got hurt in that first round when Gastelum was... Because that's when Gastelum was throwing bombs. He's knocked out Bisping, sent Bisping to retirement.
He's still good. He just feels like he comes in, gets his check and kind of and just...
Yeah.
Waits till he runs out of money and then comes back.
He's going to pull another Arlovsky, mate. Just come to a sparring session and do that for 20 years.
There's no good cards coming up either. We got we got Rose and fucking...
Yeah, the next 2 fight nights. And then you got Jandiroba versus Lemos.
Jandiroba, fucking Rob Schneider. I'm sorry, but
she wears the turtle shell out. How's that the main... Like, we pulled up the card on the weekend. We're like, if that's the main event... Jandiroba, yeah.
Yeah, she is fucking...
Versus Lemos, the 2 Brazilians.
Oh, bro. Fucking, that's just unfortunate, that one.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude.
Nah, it's rough all around.
Fuck that. She looks like Rob Schneider.
Jeez. Yeah, it's tough. She's got the cock eye. She got the curly boy fro. It's all a bit much. I mean, the woman can fight. She got some great jiu-jitsu.
Spell that.
I don't know. Jandiroba starts with a J.
Does it?
Yeah. It's Jain Jadoba, something like that. Yeah. So that's the next 2 cards are struggling. But I don't even know. So we know that 305 is Perth, and that's August when we're away in Vegas. So what's 304?
304?
Because 303 just happened.
What is UFC 304?
That's what I forgot to look it up before coming around, but because I know the next 2 fight nights are shit.
Who's Rose fighting in?
Rose, it got changed.
It's Edwards. Edwards and Bilal.
Oh, there you go.
Another fight no one gives a fuck about.
Oh, no. I saw that cut. But the main card is good.
Yeah,
That's a good main card.
Blades,
just more fights, yeah.
Bobby Green. Oh,
there you go. Yeah,
wow.
see what I'm saying? Finally got Kate versus Makayev, and then Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. So that's a strikers delight.
That's a better card than the one we just watched.
Oh, yeah. Versus 303. Which Nathaniel Woods on the undercard versus Pereira.
Molly McCann's
going to get a gig on it. It's over in England.
Tavares.
That's a different one. That's
Ramon.
Ramon Tavares.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so the undercards.
Oh my god, I do you know what? Do you know what's amazing about this?
Yeah, the undercard's struggling.
Do you know what's amazing?
Main card's great.
This fight for me is such a risk-free fight because I fucking don't like either of them.
No, that's true. That's true. You don't like Paddy or Bobby. So who do you want to see then?
I want to see Bobby Green sleep Paddy.
Sleep him, yeah. He's so like if Paddy...
And I do not like Bobby Green.
Yeah, I know. It's always hilarious to me. I don't mind Bobby Green. He talks a lot of smack. It's quite funny.
I do not like him, but I hope he fucking sleeps Pimblett.
Pimblett, because he beat Tony Ferguson by decision last time.
He was celebrating. Don't celebrate beating a fucking 49-year-old fucking Ferguson.
Yeah, Ferguson's hard.
And you didn't beat him handedly.
No, I didn't beat him handedly. But that main card is really good.
Yeah.
Aspinall Blades, just hopefully Aspinall doesn't blow out his knee again. I mean,
if Bilal wins, I will be fucking shocked.
The main event might be boring. I mean, that could be a banger if Leon comes out and actually decides to be like, fuck you. You think you're just going to get a hold of me and hold me against the fence and try and take me down?
Knocks him out.
I don't see that happening.
Oh, what would that be paying?
Oh, a lot. But Bilal by knockout would be over 15 to 1, I reckon.
It'd have to be.
By knockout?
He knocked a motherfucker out before.
Dude, he's had like 12 decisions. No, before the Sean Brady TKO, he'd had like 10.
Yeah, he knocked out Brady.
He had 10 TKO. He stopped him on the feet because, like, he's hitting him. And Brady is dead tired. He's got no legs. He's lost his wheels. He's barely holding his hands up. And Bilal couldn't even drop him. He literally had to stop him by punches on the feet. Look at all those decisions, though. Look at the decision machine.
That's crazy.
Eye poke. That was the one because that's why he versus Leon Edwards. He walked into the eye poke and he cried. Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot going on.
Oh, Bilal's a fuckwit.
Remember the name. He's a snooze on the name, unfortunately.
He does have a good record.
He's got a good record. He's beat good people, but he does it by
even his early
cage
career,
control,
Randy
clinching,
Brown, Tim
up and down.
Means.
Yeah. Decision split, decision unanimous.
That's wild, eh?
Loss.
What about his early career? Did he do anything exciting?
No, not really.
TKO and punches his debut.
Oh, there you go. You know what that would be as well? I don't think that's striking on the feet. I bet you that's, but he strikes like probably got his back and just pot shotting him from behind.
Have a look at the TKO. Another one.
Oh,
TKO.
At HFC 15.
HFC 15.
What the fuck are
Another
you doing?
one.
Can we go back up to his UFC record, please?
Bro.
I didn't know that's where it's all decisions.
Got a rear naked.
Oh, good. Finally, when he's wrestling enough against
Another eye poke.
against
Oh,
Soto.
no, that's the same one.
That's the same one. Yeah, and then against Brady. Mate, that's why they didn't want to give it to him. He's a snooze.
I'm very sure Leon did not want to fight Bilal.
No. But the fact that when the hope for Leon was when he came out, the first 40 seconds till he eye poked him, he was the most aggressive Leon Edwards that anyone had ever seen.
Yeah,
because maybe he just thought, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy. Now Bilal had a few good wins. If he comes out and just goes, yeah, I'm the champ. Yeah, you got to fucking do it, Rocky. You got to do it, lad. Pull your shit out the fire.
If he
just comes straight in like that and just goes, mate, I am better than this guy everywhere. After what he's done, after what Leon's done against Usman now,
yeah.
If he doesn't come out and just go and beating the shit out of Colby, just thoroughly controlling a bloke that had Colby has good wrestling. Colby's another Bilal.
Leon has a very, he has the ability to have a boring fight as well.
Leon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not pulling the trigger. Yeah. Again, it's not putting numbers on. It's the same issue with the weekend with MVP versus Gary. It's all good to dance around, set your traps, pull the fucking trigger. It's people watching you. I understand you want to win the fight, and some people would argue then getting the W is everything. Fair enough. Especially when there's bloody, show money and then win money. But you've got to at some point pull the trigger and make it exciting.
Leon's record's not like the most stacked record in the UFC, is it?
Leon's? No, it's not big. All of a sudden he was fighting. They gave him a slow
his jump was massive. He went from fighting fucking
Albert Tumenov was quite good.
Tumenov to fighting Luque when Luque was good.
Yeah, and then Barberina
is savage.
Barberina's always in there. Peter Sabrada, yep. Then he got Cerrone and he handled that, and then they're Gunnar Nelson, Rafael Dos Anjos, and there you go. That's when he starts getting real good. Yeah.
That second Usman fight was phenomenal. It was it was like a good performance on his behalf. Good performance
on his part because Usman, everyone's like, he got lucky and caught him. And then he wasn't that in the first round? He got the trip straight into mount. And then he handles him on the feet. And Usman just couldn't really get close and pin him too much.
I don't know where Usman would go from here.
He's going to take middleweight fights. What was it? Khabib was saying it was like take championship fight, take risks now, fight hot up and comers.
Yeah,
it's like what else are you waiting for?
His body.
Well, because he was one, wasn't it? That he was one, and Strickland that turned down the Whittaker fight when
Whittaker would be a bad matchup for Usman.
Yeah,
he's so much bigger.
Yeah, he's a lot.
Usman's pretty big.
I was about to say. He did it right against Jemima.
His knees. Does he have that explosiveness in his knees anymore? Because so much of his game is reliant on just pressing you up against that fucking fence and just taking you down and taking you back down and taking you back down. It's like if he
And then every now and then, if I could hit you with a power right, and all of a sudden, when he started to do the...
when he started training with Whitman.
When he started switching stances, and all of a sudden, he'd jab with his power hand, and he'd just start jabbing the fuck out of people, beating them up.
He wasn't always training with Whitman, was he?
No, before Whitman, wasn't he with Henry Hooft?
Yeah, but then Whitman just fucking took his striking to a really good level.
And that's what it was. And then, because there was in that time, he got that Masvidal knockout.
It was picture perfect.
And that DC just go, that right hand is ridiculous.
Oh, that's aged so well because Masvidal's become a bit of a cock.
Yeah, well, anytime when they step away, now he sells mushrooms again, the life cycle, I think.
I don't care about him and Nate Diaz in a boxing fight.
No, I don't care. No.
At all.
No, I don't really care. I mean, I'll see the results on my Google feed when it comes up.
I'll illegally stream it somewhere.
Yeah, I wouldn't even watch the fight. I'd just watch the highlights and see what highlights there are. Just pause for a sec, man. I gotta go.
Take a piss.
Yep.
Woo. Quickly, while Piro is taking a piss, if you haven't heard, go to tudaloo.com.au. That's tudaloo.com.au. Use code SESH at checkout, SESH, and receive 15% off all bidets on the website. They have an end of financial year sale at the moment. I don't know if it's still going, but I think that's another 30% on top. So you're getting like 45% off. Have a clean asshole. Don't be gross. You like that? I'm using the time.
Good. I immediately heard it and I was like, oh, look at it.
I'm using the time. Dude, do you know how many bidets I've sold?
Yo, I saw you sold another 3, like all in one kind of within a hit.
I've sold almost like...
Well, you said 30 or
30 or 40. 40 or 50. It'd have to be close to 50 now.
I thought it'd be about 40 just over now.
It's like I had a day where I sold like 7.
It's good though,
7 clean up. Someone the other day bought the deluxe model for $400.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Someone really wants a clean whistle. Someone convinced the missus. You got to do this again?
No. So that's the deluxe version has heated water. And it has a heated seat.
See, that is great in these cold winter.
So you wake up in the morning. You're waking up in the morning and you got a heated seat upon arrival. And you got heated water on your asshole, and it's got dryer.
That sounds delightful. That's the polar opposite of what you'd go on a site toilet, mate.
Yeah.
That's the depravity and how gross that is compared to a lovely toodaloo, which just a really little clean whistle.
So good.
Oh, with hot water. Oh,
so good.
That would be that. That's how you want to start your morning.
That's like a king.
That's great. Like a
king.
Like a king.
Like a fucking king.
No peasantry around here. That's brilliant.
But yeah, I don't know. But 304, then 305. 305 cards, nah. It's all right.
305, the Perth card.
It's all right.
They've announced a few fights. There's some decent ones on there. It's a shame that Madalena won't be able to fight because I think he'll still be injured.
That would have made, if they did Shovecart and Madalena, that takes the card from a 6, a 7 to a 9 for me.
Yeah, they could have done that as a co-main. It would have been massive. Now you've got Cara France versus Usyk. Not bad at the flyweights.
I think Usyk's going to beat the shit out of Cara France, personally.
Really? Beat the shit out of him?
I don't know. I think
he looked good against Pantoja. So.
Oh, he looked really... He just fumbled the bag hard.
Yeah, a little bit.
Poor bloke, man.
Yeah, but Cara France, he's had some good performances and he's looked good. So
heavy hands. That's a good fight.
Yeah. That's a good fight. Yep, looking forward to that. Well, how are we even going to be watching it, mate? We'll be in Vegas, even if you remember.
I'm not going.
You what?
Remember? I had to pull out.
You're not coming to Vegas now?
No, I had to pull out.
What? I haven't heard this.
Oh, I'll tell you off camera.
Oh, Bill Earns.
Yeah.
Oh, Savas.
Yeah, so I was thinking of maybe doubling and going to Perth.
Well, if you're not going to Vegas, then shit. Yeah, you could go to Perth. Oh, no, I've got to hear this story.
It's in a month. When he's August.
5 weeks.
August.
It's like 5 weeks, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, because the countdown.
Are you going to go to CJI?
Yeah, that's the thought. I haven't bought tickets yet, and Miles was talking about it.
It's a lot of jiu-jitsu for fucking 4 days,
exactly what
bro.
Miles said. He's like 3-4 days of jiu-jitsu, just all jiu-jitsu. I'm like, hey man, we've gone to watch Declan. It'd be great to get in there, and the car that they've put on, that CGI is just absolutely building. That's so good.
That's going to be
what they've been able to do. Yeah, it's going to be great.
But you can go to the first day, and then you can go to ADC the second.
That's the thing. But yeah, do I buy a ticket? Is there going to be an option? Is it going to sell out? Like, I don't know.
CJI?
Yeah.
You're going to the draw to win big money as well if you buy a ticket.
Is it?
No. You get it. You go in the fucking draw to win Gordon Ryan's Miata.
Oh, is that what it is? That was what that joke was.
Did you see it?
I saw the thing about the Miata. They're putting the Miata up. I didn't know what it was for.
No, so the guy that won Gordon Ryan's Miata gave it to fucking Craig.
Gave it to Craig. Oh, fuck's sakes. That dude can't win. That dude can't catch a break when it comes to this shit.
It never ends.
That's fucking hell.
And so Craig's got Gordon Ryan's fucking Miata. And he's giving it away.
He's just giving it away.
If you donate $50 to the Fair Fight Foundation or whatever, or if you donate, or if you buy a CJI ticket, you go into the draw to win Gordon Ryan's Miata.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Craig will sign it.
That dude is so good. That dude.
It just falls into his lap, though.
It
just all falls into his lap.
How does it play like that? He just understands. Yeah.
Who the fuck wanted to win Gordon Ryan's Miata? What's a Miata? I only know
it's
what
I think it's a version of like an MX-5, right?
I don't fucking know.
I think a Mazda. I think it's a Mazda. Right?
He gave away a Mazda.
I think it's a Mazda, yeah.
He gave away a Mazda.
I think so, yeah, Mazda.
I'm gonna give away my fucking Corolla.
If it's not a Mazda, then the Miata I feel is the exact same shape and everything of an MX-5, which is a Mazda.
I actually might be getting a new car pretty soon or soonish. So if I do, I'll be giving away my Corolla.
The big red rocket. What do you mean?
I'm gonna give it away.
Damn, man.
It's gonna come with a packet of nangs and some fucking
unclean. He won't even clean it for you.
Some receipts,
outside or in. Just don't take a black light.
Have you done these?
No. Oh, I saw it. I was like, I needed to. Okay. All right, come on. Let's go. Oh shit. Oh, here we go.
It is dying a bit, so you got to get really close up in there.
Close up in there.
Not heaps close. Don't do too close.
I've never done smelling salts. Obviously, these are big on the Rogans now. They get close with the freshies. Oh, yeah, it gets hot. I started to feel it. You were getting closer and I was getting the burn. I was like, holy shit.
That's a weak one.
That's what I was putting my note. I was like,
That's a weak one, eh? But you kind of want to do it again?
A little bit, yeah, it stings the nostrils in a good way. I'm not going to lie to you, Brian. It smells like pure gasoline. Holy shit. They'll bring tear to your eye.
One of the best fucking reactions I've ever seen is when Theo Von did it. He's a national.
And then they do it on the Fight Companion though, and they start playing. Then Joey Diaz pulls up the Blade music.
Yeah.
And then because Rogan's always going closer, and then the other guy's like, not much. And then Diaz is just.
I don't think I've enjoyed a Rogan episode in a while.
What was the one? I was starting to listen to Protect My Parks today. The newest.
Is there a new one?
There's a new one out.
Protect Our Parks is good, and he did one with the first recipient of Neuralink.
Oh, he did. Yeah, I didn't listen to that one.
The guy with a spinal cord
fucking
issue.
Yeah, you're starting controlling shit with your mind. It's pretty trippy. But he's saying something like he can full play video games with his mind and shit.
Yeah, that's weird.
They were talking about. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about. It was with a guy that's worked. With the Santa Fe Institute, which you don't know, is like they study complexity essentially, which is complex systems, but you do it at all levels. So they've got AI, they've got all this, and it's where all the geniuses go, right? And they're all around the world. But the Santa Fe Institute in California is massive for understanding all this. And then why did I bring that up? What was he bloody talking about? What were we just saying about that? Why would I bring up the complexity?
Neuralink video games.
The Neuralink. To study all that complexity is like to understand the system of how the brain all works together.
Well, he's saying that they might eventually be able to put a Neuralink at the top of it, like in his brain, and they might be able to put one at the bottom of his spine so they communicate with each other in between his broken spinal cord.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I'm butchering that, but that's the real dumb version of it.
Yeah.
And then the Neuralinks will be able to send signals through his damaged spinal cord and make things work again.
That's what it was making me think of. On that podcast though, they were talking about, so he was smart guy, right? Super genius, super eloquent, the way he can speak and across all these broad ranges. That's how you get a gig at bloody the Santa Fe Institute. But he was talking about, fucking hell, it just went out again. The Black Mirror episodes and how what they're studying is cutting edge, right? Same with Boston Dynamics. If you're in the know, they're like, what was scary about Black Mirror was how like, wow, that's coming. And people were like, that can't be real. And it was like how good that they were at nailing like, oh, if that's on the horizon, that's scary as fuck. And now they're at the stage where it's like, people are like, that's not real. And he's like, we've been doing that for 6 months.
They showed a video on Rogan of Neuralink. They put it in a pig and they can move its like legs and shit without the pig moving them. Like they can move it.
Yeah, you're essentially in a wetware model of the brain. Humans can interact with it and make it dance like a marionette puppet.
Imagine you're just in your room and your hand just you put a finger up your ass.
After your own date, yeah. That's straight where you went with Neuralink. That's what people want to fuck with at the time. It's just like we've got implants directly into their brain.
Imagine one of your boys has Neuralink and you've just hacked it on your phone and you can just make him do dumb shit.
You could not be putting access to Neuralink on someone's phone. That would not be a good idea.
Put everything on your phone.
It's got to be hooked in with some kind of security.
It's just an app on the computer.
Man. There's got to be so many things. Isn't that the breakthrough about quantum computing? Is because it's going to be used for.
Understand quantum
it's going to not so much, but it's
wild.
It's going to be used for cryptography, like so that people can't hack in. The thing about the quantum is all of a sudden it'll be unbreakable. You won't be able to break these codes because it's on a quantum level, which means it can change at any which time.
But that would mean, like, for everything that it can do like that, it can do the polar opposite just as horrifically. So it would be able to probably break into it. Like, it would probably be able to be used for the most heinous shit ever.
But it's it'll be the strongest form of coding because
what if a hacker decides, I don't know what I'm fucking talking about, but imagine a hacker decides,
don't know on this, no.
I'm going to use this quantum computing to fucking hack into every bank in the world and just shut them down and they can't break back into it because it's a quantum computer doing it.
Okay, but you do also know that even what they do now is when they when a bank actually creates a system, a new security system, they hire hackers to break, like the best hackers to break into it, especially banks with that much money. They have to know that it works. The issue with quantum computing is it changes the rules of the game.
There's some 17-year-old Korean kid saying, hold my beer.
But not everyone's going to have access to these quantum computers. It's then who has access to it. So there's only going to be a select group of people
Biden.
That will
How fucking good was that?
Dude, how much has he lost his marbles in the last few years?
I've seen a video of him in 2019. 19, was it 19?
19, yeah. And all of a sudden he's still speaking quite well. He seems to be holding it. And now he's got this deeper, ruskier, like...
he's dying.
He's losing. He's an 82-year-old man or whatever.
He has Alzheimer's.
He's on a strong cliff down. Like that's why when you share a 2019 clip and then you go back to 15 years ago and he is sharp as a tack, you're like, he's in a decline. So how can you, in good conscience, then put him in? And that's when you realize the corruptness of the system.
Because they don't want him to win.
They
know he's not going to win.
It's not him. They want the Democrats want to win. They don't care. They're trying to have Joe Biden as the fake because he's not running shit. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on at the moment.
He literally doesn't. It's Donald Trump is. I don't have a leg in the race either. I don't care.
We don't care. We live in Australia, mate.
But Donald Trump is so unironically funny.
Yeah. That's why people like him.
When Joe's talking and he's just like. Like you can see Trump's face when they started arguing about his fucking what do you fucking call it?
His golfing game.
Shit.
He's what's it called?
Par, is it?
Nah, it's your handicap.
Your handicap? Yeah, he's got a fucking handicap.
A 6 handicap or mine or whatever the fuck it was.
His handicap's Alzheimer's. He's fucked.
And then you go on Twitter and you look at some of the pundits and they're like, why the fuck is a presidential debate talking about a golf handicap? What the fuck are we doing?
I've seen your golf game. It's not good.
It's a shit show. And Rogan's talking about it. He's like this world game now. He's like, whoever the screenwriters are, it's fucking terrific. Because that's all it is now. It's a spectacle.
You could not write it better.
That's what he's saying. It's like almost like it's written. Like it's crazy.
I can't wait. And if anyone wants me to, I will sit there for fucking 48 hours and live stream the whole election.
You've spoken about this. I feel like I'd lose my marbles. I'd need all of this in the fresh batches.
Any red state I'll drink, any blue state you'll drink.
Ooh. How long does it take though? Like I don't even know enough about it.
It's a couple of hours, isn't it?
Is it?
Oh, it's not.
Like watching a Eurovision.
I don't even know who our fucking person is. Isn't it Albanese? Is that it?
Yeah, Albanese is still our Prime Minister.
Fuck him. I didn't vote for him.
Anthony.
I don't even know who to vote for because I do not follow I don't follow
Australian
any
politics. Because who's the opposition now? Is it Peter Dutton yet?
Who's that?
He was the Liberal.
What's
head
Pauline
Liberal guy.
Hanson? Is she still in the race?
First Nation. One Nation, not First Nation.
She's not First Nation.
She's not First Nation. She was the One Nation, and I think she's got a seat, but she's not the leader or anything.
She's a cunt, isn't she?
She's a pretty hard nosed about a lot of things.
She's female Trump, but with redder hair.
Yeah. Pulling pants down. Yep. I don't like it. I don't like anything. That was classic.
John Howard's still alive?
Yeah, still alive. Yep. He was. It depends on who you ask, but I mean, he did some pretty drastic shit for this country, and he was in. Wasn't he in for long? Wasn't he?
He was in
for at least 8 years.
Then was it Julia Gillard or K-Rudd?
No, K-Rudd was before Gillard. Gillard ousted K-Rudd. And then that's when the shit show started because all of a sudden it was their own parties into fighting. And
I was overseas and there was like 3 prime ministers in fucking 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what made it crazy.
Yeah.
Because then we had Tony Abbott in there somewhere after the fact.
Isn't it nice that we live in a country where that can happen and no bloodshed?
Yeah.
Like if that happens in a lot of countries, it's because there's been mass bloodshed.
A military coup.
Yeah, there's been fucking...
All of a sudden they convinced the army to come in with the weapons and be like, yeah, well, you know. Yeah, we don't have that, but that's the thing. We don't have the guns down here, mate. That is what John Howard did. That was John Howard after the massacre down in Tasmania.
How's fucking know someone overseas at the moment, and they went to the crow's nest, Hitler's crow's nest.
What's his crow's nest? Where he died?
In Austria. No, that's where he used to on top of a mountain, and he used to come up with a lot of his plans.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Catch an elevator up there. Yeah, Hitler's crow's nest.
Huh, I was just watching. There's a new docuseries on Netflix about Hitler.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's called?
Something of evil. It's new because what's been released, if they've just released, there was only about 30 hours of footage from the Nuremberg trials, which was the war crime trials.
Hitler's crow's nest.
There you go. So he's there.
He used to plan a lot of his attacks there.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. If you're out, you want to be out of the way and plan it, and then give people the orders, and then send it down to let people do it.
Apparently, Austria is a beautiful country, though.
Austria, yeah, they've been shit on, man. Austria, Poland, anywhere of those in between the big superpowers.
Fuck, imagine him just up there, just doing meth and fucking thinking about killing Jews.
Just again, I guess I got to go watch the Olympics this time and watch all these.
That's fucked.
Watch all these sporting along with all the bloodshed that's going on around. Yeah, I've got a book home that's dark about that. It's called, and it scared the shit out of me when we know about concentration camps.
I know people that have been to them and they say it's very horrific. It's dark. Actually going.
It's dark shit. But the fact that concentration camp is a labor camp and then they'd kill people in gas chambers, right? But did you know about killing fields?
No.
And the difference between a concentration camp and a killing field?
No.
Yeah. That's this book, Bloodlands. And that's why there's a bit of the history between the Russians and the Germans, or former Prussia, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and how far back all this goes. But Poland and those countries in between is, concentration camps is state of the art. We're gonna gas you.
Oh, these killing fields of the Wild West.
Killing West. We're gonna throw you in pits and shoot you down in the tens of thousands. Just machine gun you in pits.
That's fucking barbaric.
Fucking dark. And as soon as they got machine gun weaponry, that's what changed in World War I was the machine guns. So getting over the wall and crossing a bit of land to make up a kilometer, and you're getting mowed down, and you're sending out hundreds at a time, and then just mowed down. That's on a war field. That's when machine guns come in. But what about all of a sudden you take these prisoners of war, We don't want to do anything with you. We're not keeping you as slaves. We can't do that now. We're going to dig deep ass fucking pits, throw you in there, and just rain down hellfire. And then so that's dark enough. And then they're saying, why is it that all the Russians and the Germans and shit were just drug fucked or boozed out of their minds? Because they
didn't want to do that.
They're just murdering people on this crazy cunt's orders.
No one wanted to do that.
But then that's the thing. So this style talks about, back to the series that there's just been released. So the Nuremberg trials was trying all the former heads of the SS, of war crimes, the ones that didn't off themselves, because obviously Himmler and everyone, they like off themselves before they could get caught.
A lot of them got located to the US and fucking worked at NASA, didn't they?
Well, that was Operation Paperclip, and that's a different thing. They just got their scientists, and it was whether or not you believe
the worst ones.
Well, they say it depends on how much you say that the heads of scientists, because the big one was because he got put in front of it. Martin Heidegger got put essentially head of the university. He was a very famous philosopher, but full blown Nazi.
Or it's just who's worse, the person that pulled the trigger or the one that made it?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just a fucking you've got to separate the art from the artist, I guess. I don't know.
There you go. Well, there's a lot to that, because what's the story about the guy that created the gas that killed the Jews? Fritz Haber is the same guy that created the Haber method that extracted nitrogen out of the atmosphere to create fertilizer. So at the same time that he could win the Nobel Peace Prize for being able to create fertilizer to feed the starving and create billions of people, he also created the gas that was used to fucking in the gas chambers.
They would have found other means.
They would have done it anyway. They got killing fields, mate. An old barbaric style, they'll throw you in. All of a sudden, go back away. They'll just lop people's heads off. It's just how efficient they want to be at it. You know, it's
apparently those concentration camps are massive.
That's the scary thought. The vastness of the scale.
Like they're not
people.
It's not a small room.
No, they're not small.
It's like a basketball fucking stadium.
Yeah, it's massive. But they thought you'd go left, you'd go to the work fields for the day. You'd go right, you go on to your death. It's fucking terrifying. Read books about it. One of the guys, a very famous one, Viktor Frankl. He's a psychologist, psychotherapist. Created logotherapy. He wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning. I read it 12 years ago. No, I was in Canada, so 10 years ago. And it was one that it'll make you realize, because he wrote a manuscript as a psychologist about suffering and what it means to find meaning and purpose. And then he got captured with his manuscript in his pocket and taken to a concentration camp because he was a Jew living in Germany. And he was in Auschwitz, and he talks about depravity and finding meaning in the suffering, which is his whole idea of logotherapy and why he wrote this whole book. But he's like, the best of us died in there, because when you're a pure soul, you quit on yourself and you said, I'm not doing this anymore. And he spoke about just people breaking every which way, and then finding meaning in suffering is then the people that could, because it was also, he saw people out other people because they were terrified, out their family members, out friends, because they just didn't want them to be next. And so every moral fiber that you think that you have is thrown out the window when you're in that fucking situation.
I'm dogging the boys. I'm straight up. I'm dogging the boys.
So that's just dark shit to think. It's the mental faculty on top of the darkness of the murder, the mayhem, how you kill people and how you see it and how much pain and torment and suffering, compared to understanding prison and containment before, and how much you're going to break someone mentally and what people will then do to save their own skin. And it shouldn't surprise you.
Or save your children's, or save your fucking...
Save your children should be even bigger, but don't even get me started. I hear shit about people that don't look after their kids as well, so it goes all across the board.
Yeah, it's fucking...
It's dark sides of humans, mate. We have the highest of highs, the lowest of lowest of lows. We have an angel on one shoulder and a demon on the other.
Have you seen do you watch Shane Gillis's podcast?
Not his podcast, no.
Oh my God, fucking, I'd say best podcast in the world.
Really? What does he do? Does he riff like the Tim Dillon, or?
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
He's sharp as a tack.
He has a episode where he's balls deep in Comanches.
Oh, okay.
Like balls deep.
Talking about the Comanches, the Native Americans.
Not just the Comanches, but a lot of Native American tribes. And he was saying, on an episode, he was talking about the Comanches. He's like, they weren't good people.
Oh, savages. Savagery. Yeah, pure savagery.
Everyone thinks that the Native Americans were just hanging out and like kumbayaing and shit. No, they were fucking
warfare,
raping and pillaging.
And Comanches were the best at doing that.
But they were little. They were little fellas.
Small people.
They were like my height or shorter.
Yep.
But they learned how to fucking ride horses really well.
Do you know where that idea actually comes from?
Probably Mongols.
No, but the idea of why is it as Westerners we looked at people that lived off the...
We Pocahontas.
Romanticized it. You know what? There's a in the paleontological ideas. It was the noble savage.
It's like them shows like Vikings and Game of Thrones. They romanticize that time period. That time period was fucking... crazy.
They do in movies, but the fact of why is it that white Westerners that live in cities and have had, the way that we've been born and raised and where we've come from, why is it we look at natives and we think that it's a Western idea? It's Jean-Jacques Rousseau, was a French fucking philosopher back in the 1800s. And there was the hard idea of logic is best and this is best. He was the guy that was like, no, come up with the idea of the noble savage. The people that lived off the land, they were all kumbaya. Look at it. They understood something we don't have. They communicate with spirits. You just conveniently forget about all that dark shit that everyone does that is a part of humans.
The Comanches would capture people after raping and killing everyone.
Yeah.
And then they would keep a few people because they had dwindling numbers because their women kept not being able to birth because of just issues back then.
Yeah.
And they used to capture people and they used to fucking haze them. Like, they used to rip their toenails off.
Yeah.
Get women while they were tied up just to beat them.
The natives wouldn't have been the first ones. They scalped them, man. They would just take and then they'd hold them as trophies.
They would tie you up to horses and drag you for miles. Yeah. But then if you stood up one day and just domed the fuck out of one of them, as soon as you did that, they'd be like, all right, you're cool. You're one of us now. No one touch him. No one touch him. There was
Damn, you had to really step up.
There was a story of this woman who was getting hazed, and apparently, I think it was a woman, and she just full wigged out on this Comanche, and fucking beat the shit out of her.
Probably bludgeoned her to death with her own hands. Yeah.
And they were like, oh, you're one of us. No one's allowed to touch her anymore. She is just one of us.
I heard that. The Comanches were the old gangsters of the...
Yeah, just bad motherfuckers.
Of the Midwest. Do you know, fun fact, that there's a Native American tribe called the Tom Piros?
Really?
My mum's she has a bit of a fascination with Native American history. She has a very famous quote.
Tom Piros, that's very specific.
Yeah, because there's the Piros, and then specifically there's the Tom Piros.
Nick gets fucked over with everything, eh?
He's going to laugh even.
There's no Nick Piro tribe, eh?
That's right. Yeah, they all laugh. They're like the Tom Piro tribe, and I was like, yeah, there's no Nick Piro tribe.
There's no Nick Piro tribe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you just go there and it's just these dudes in rash guards, just these jack dudes in rash guards.
It's just, unfortunately, they did get wiped out, so obviously weren't working the best. But Mum has a picture, a framed picture in her house, and it has the land of America and all the known tribes. But he scattered without, and there's the Tom Piro tribe. And then I Wikipedia'd it, and yeah, they got wiped out. But the Tom Piro tribes is an offshoot of the Piro tribe.
Oh, you're joking.
Yeah, just go in Tom Piro tribe, Native Americans, and it'll come up. I want to say they're in the middle there, somewhere in those flyover states they talk about. The Piro people, New Mexico.
Piro people.
There you go. Oh, is that near El Paso? And they got a Piro language?
The Piro people were native to Native American tribe who lived in New Mexico during the 10th and 17th century.
10th and the 17th. There you go. Oh, now I'm just trying to skim through and see where's the Tom bit.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. Well, it's literally, Mum has a picture, and it's got all the Comanches and the obvious ones. No, they're not the Sioux, because remember, the Sioux is actually a nickname, a derivative nickname given from Westerners.
It's basically the same thing.
What?
Just trying to... Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah. No, we don't look the same. No. I think Piro's, from my background, is actually Argentinian. So Piro's Italian. It comes from the Italian side. But I know that there's...
Have you done the 23andMe or anything?
No, my sister and my mum did.
What
It's
did they
exactly where where we would think, where it says that where our history comes
Spain.
from, Holland, Italy, like that corridor.
All right. No Spanish?
I don't think so. No, nah. But it's like, because you know how it just gives you blots where it's like, yeah, it's this spot and this spot, and it was literally like Dutch Italian, which is
I did the ancestry one, and I got 99.9% Cypriot.
Yeah, there you go.
And I got 0.01% Leviant for Leviath.
Oh, the Levant.
It's like a Ottoman Empire fucking Arab thing.
It's the same fucking thing, mate. You're just seems to be ultra confined.
Do you know what's weird about
Cyprus.
that? Do you know what's weird? That would mean there would have had to been some inbreeding.
Well, the fact you're 99 point something, that's strong.
No one fucked around with anyone else besides Cypriots in my lineage.
Yeah, man. Well, the fact that all the way back in it's just you'd marry people from your town. Everyone's their last names used to be they were named after their town. So of course you were fucking people locally. You were fucking people in your own that tight little knit community. So it might not have been direct descendant, direct family ancestry, but if you're there and then they've got sons, all you're doing, you're not going anywhere. You don't have cars yet. You don't have the ability to walk. You're going to die out there. So like, you've got a son, you've got a daughter, let's get them together. You're born in the same spot and you do that generation after generation until mass transport and transit and all these other things come about where people can all of a sudden move a little easy.
Yeah.
Not everyone had access to horses back in the day, just get on the gallop, get on their carriage.
This dude today, so he was listening to the podcast and I told a story about how I get really bad, I've always gotten really bad sleep paralysis.
Really? Where it feels like someone's holding you down and you wake up and you're like, a ghost holding me.
But it's been flaring up heaps, so I didn't get it for a few years, but like the last 3 months, almost every week I'll get like a really bad case of it.
It's pretty fucked up. It's
I
scary
always
shit.
see the same thing. But then, like, when was it? It was like 3 weeks ago I was sleeping and I couldn't get off the bed. I knew I wasn't awake, but I wasn't asleep. And I just seen Bruno at the end of my bed kind of looking out. And I could just hear this fucking kid screaming.
Oh, really?
Like at my back door, though. Like just screaming and wailing. And I was like, I can't get up and I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
But I used to see this cunt in a top hat all the time with really long hair. And then this bloke messaged me today. And he's like, that's the Hat Man. Like,
oh, great. There's some archetype where it shows up in dreams all the time or some shit.
It's what everyone sees that gets sleep paralysis.
It's like on DMT experiences or, you see common themes.
The Hat Man. Apparently, and
dreamers around the world.
Fucking looks like that, but with long hair and a bigger hat, like more like an Undertaker-esque hat.
Oh, right.
And this motherfucker,
monsters, demons, and the jinn.
I've seen this cunt so many times.
Yeah, you see, it's funny. You just see common themes.
And then you see shit like that, and that's when you freak out. When you see shit like that
Yeah.
in a language that's not around anymore.
Yeah, but that's what makes you believe. Okay, so...
That's the motherfucker there.
There he is with the wide brim, yeah.
Oh, but man, when he sent me that, I was like, oh, that's fucking creepy.
It was just creepy. What is it? Deep sleep paralysis.
Does it say what sleep paralysis is? The science of sleep paralysis.
Oh, there you go.
It wasn't until the 20th century that scientists and physicians,
yeah,
started to move away from the mythological explanation and looked into a physical explanation
for the phenomena. Although it remains poorly understood, the paralysis is now believed to be caused by a brain glitch that disrupts an important signal. During REM sleep, your body is paralyzed, yes, to prevent you from falling off the bed or acting out dreams that could result in you hurting yourself or others. This paralysis automatically switches off as you come out of REM sleep and start to wake up. But not in the case of sleep paralysis. Because of a glitch in the brain, your body remains paralyzed as you wake and refuses to move at all.
Have you ever had it?
No.
It's fucked.
My brother had it.
It's fucked. I used to get it regularly.
He had it when we were sleeping in Moonta, which is an old mining town, and there's constant things about people speaking about. So you see the guy with the hat. Like there was ghost stories, but people that constantly walk through the streets with the lanterns And so all of a sudden you see these there's common thoughts of mining towns, and you see lantern people and people sitting on doorsteps because it was wives waiting for the miners to come home with their fucking lanterns, and there would be constant series of them being seen.
I'm pretty sure I won't play it on the podcast, but I'll show you. I'm pretty sure there's a really good video on YouTube of what it looks like.
Of the Hat Man?
No, of just sleep paralysis in general.
All I've heard is it's like, you wake up and it feels like someone's like sitting heavy on your chest, so you can't sit up, but you're kind of like...
Sometimes you'll see something crawling up your bed and you won't be able to move.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It's very, very, very odd. This here is very, very good thing of it.
How long does it go for? I don't know where.
Oh, you can fucking
5 minutes.
But you cannot. Oh shit! But you can't move. It's just so bizarre. Yeah.
But there you go. So your body releases chemicals so that you don't. But then all of a sudden you wake up. I mean, it goes into similar ideas of lucid dreaming, because all of a sudden it's like you're aware you're in a dream, but you can't do any. But you can mentally do things. You can travel through all these different dimensions, but physically you can't do anything.
This is exactly what it's like.
Oh, where things appear to be happening all around you,
but you're
still just sitting there watching it without the ability to do anything.
But you have this like...
Oh, that's a creepy chick.
You have this fucking very... I don't know how to explain it. You just have this feeling like... you're... Like, it feels like you're in a Freddy fucking Krueger movie.
That's what that was just looking like. It was a fucking Paranormal Activity or some shit.
Like, I could have sworn there was a fucking small child outside my house the other night just screaming like my name in bloody murder.
Yeah, isn't it weird that your senses, all of a sudden you're in a sleep or something, and your senses just start fucking firing in weird ways where you're like, oh, that's not even real.
The only thing I knew wasn't real because I knew Bruno wasn't barking.
Yeah.
But if Bruno fucking started barking, I would have had a heart attack.
You would have lost your absolute marbles.
I would have had a fucking heart attack.
Bloody hell.
But apparently, like, some people actually learn how to put themselves into that.
Yeah. Well, same thing with lucid dreaming. There's a book that all talks about all the little ways you can trick your brain.
Is lucid dreaming and sleep paralysis very synonymous with each other?
Yeah, they're close, yeah.
But lucid dreaming is where you can kind of control it?
Control the dream.
So you're in fucking Inception?
Yep. That's the idea. You can... I've never been able to do a full lucid dream, but I have definitely been at where I've realised kind of... I guess it's a little like a lucid dream, but then I didn't go, I want to do this now and do it.
You're in the dream?
Yeah, it's catching yourself within the dream, because they say dreaming is like holding a blowing of a bubble.
Wouldn't that be...
It's so easy to pop. But all of a sudden, because when you dream, if you realize you're dreaming, you wake up. How many times have you had it where you're in a dream, you realize you're dreaming, you wake up? The lucid dream is when you can know you're in a dream.
And you stay asleep.
And then you stay asleep.
Have you... Oh, obviously you would have, but I always will have a dream and I'll wake up and I'll be like...
Take me back to that dream. Think about it hard enough.
Fuck, that's over.
Oh, it's over?
Like a bad dream.
Oh, yeah.
Or you're like, did I do that?
Yeah,
or like fucking...
Oh, of course. And nightmares, mate.
I guess when when people smoke heavy weed, they don't really dream.
They don't dream much, yeah. Heavy
weed.
weed.
Get in that REM.
Yeah, heavy weed apparently knocks you out. And mine was also the amount of sleep between forcing myself to get up early for work. You go to sleep. If I'm only getting 6 to 7 hours.
Are you pretty on it with your sleep?
I get about 6 to 7 a night. But then weekends, you want 8. 8 to 9 is way preferable, but
people function off 3 their whole fucking lives.
Yeah, but that's not good for you.
That's not good for you. It's not good for you, but
my dreaming, and the only time that I remember my dreams because of the way I wake and when I go to bed, is weekends when I wake up and I've probably left my alarm on, and then I come to and I might switch it off and go back to bed, and then because but when I go back to sleep and I get that hour or 2 hours. Then I go back into dreams and all of a sudden I could have a fucking vivid dream, because there's a difference. Vivid dreams, lucid dreams, they're all different. Like a vivid dream it's like you were there, but you had no control over it. You're just seeing it. You're seeing a theater play out in front of you. Whereas a lucid dream, you're controlling it. You're actually, because it's the idea that there's the separation of your prefrontal cortex, which is your rational decision-making part, actually switches on a little bit while you're still in sleep mode. So you can actually think about it with you as a subjective person.
Is there like a best lucid dreamer in the world?
Oh, there would be, mate. There's expert lucid dreamers.
Well, you wouldn't want to be awake ever.
I know, right?
You'd look forward to sleeping so much.
That gets kind of weird when you say, well, look how good video games get. People don't want to fucking leave video games.
Below is a list of the most famous lucid dreamers who have conquered the realm.
Stephen King. Thomas Edison, Salvador Dali.
Chris Nolan.
Richard Feynman.
Brilliant minds.
Yeah, it was about Richard Feynman, big physicist.
Who is the most experienced lucid dreamer in the world? Alan Worsley.
Okay.
Do you know that cunt?
No, I don't know Alan Worsley, but there you go. It's to do with the REM. Because the REM is obviously...
I reckon you'd have to be really not stressed. Do you know what I mean?
There's a lot. One I remember because there's at this book and there's techniques like everything, like memory palace, anything where you're trying to get good memory, you're trying to get good at this. There is a trick that I still remember, which I never did. But when you're walking through life, the way you want to catch yourself in a lucid dream is anytime, if you know about it, then if you open a door or you open a book in a dream, it'll never be the same thing twice. So if you walk through a door and then you open it and then you walk through another door, it won't be the same door. It won't be the same room. It won't be the same experience. It'll fucking change. If you open a book, it'll be one set of pages. If all of a sudden you flip the pages, it'll be a different thing. And so if you can catch yourself in real life when you're reading or walking through doors, if you knock on the door and say, am I dreaming? And then walk through, if you train yourself enough that you try that in a dream and then you walk through from being in one experience through a door or through a portal from one thing to another, and you knock on it because you've done it in your rationally thinking state of mind and then you forced it into your subconscious or your unconscious, then that's the way you can catch yourself. That's like a signpost to say whether you're dreaming. Looking at the time, you look at a time and then you look away and then you look back, it'll never be the same time in the dream.
Is that like the dreidel from Inception?
Yeah. Why he spins the dreidel. It's the way he can catch himself.
So that movie was very well read on
on lucid dreaming. Of course, mate. You're not doing a movie like that without understanding that sphere. There's a lot. I got a whole book on it. It's called The Bible of Lucid Dreaming.
Really?
Yeah, I got a whole book on it. Yeah.
And you haven't tried it?
And I've never read it. No, I never even read it. I bought it fucking 9 years ago and I've never
You'd use it to fucking get in jiu-jitsu techniques.
I would think that.
Imagine.
But no, because it's still my deep fascination of like the depths of your own mind, because the depths of other people's minds can go so far and it ties in with only so much an individual can know. But then look at what people can do and what they can figure out. And then with the unconscious and the subconscious, which is so much of the mind. And then that tie in to you can connect to other people's minds,
That's
especially
what I was
in that space.
So how long before? Because have you watched the episode I did with Ravi Hammond?
Yeah.
Did you see the bit where he showed me this was like 5 years ago as well, the ChatGPT model that was hooked up to someone's brain and they were looking at its brain waves and they showed the person a picture of a giraffe and ChatGPT recreated the picture just from looking at its brain.
I've heard that's what they're being able to do with things now, yeah.
How long before you can see what people are dreaming and kind of like just slip into it?
Yeah, because I've read a few articles now about, reading people, like being able to analyze the brain waves and seeing people's dreams, yeah.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, so it's weird to be able to tap in like that. And it made me think of what you were saying with going and do jiu-jitsu. So we talk about the tism in jiu-jitsu, right? There's something in the brain. So the brain's separated, right? You got two hemispheres. So essentially you got two separate brains. The only way they communicate as one thing is through the corpus callosum, which is a giant set of nerve bundles through the front. When they were studying it, the way when you used to get, not schizophrenia, when you had seizures, massive seizures, when you would get them all the time, unbeknownst to you, they used to, back in the 70s, I was studying it, and they'd cut the corpus callosum, they'd cut those nerve fibers and separate it, because what happens when all of a sudden your brain, it's a neural storm. It's an electrical overload of your brain. It starts locally and then spreads out, and all of a sudden you can't control, because your brain controls movement. It's not just thinking, it's movement. It's the understanding of your field in space. It's everything is happening in an empty black box inside of our skulls all the time at all these rates. So by looking at that, they're like, oh, if we cut that, we'll stop the neural storm. And then they're like, oh, but hang on a minute. If we cut those nerve fibers, then neuroscientists back in the early days were going, what if we test these people, these patients, after they've had this experimental procedure of cutting these nerve fibers? And that's how they figured out the left and right hemispheres. And they have different things. And the only way it seems that it's all working as one thing is because it ties together in this thing we call consciousness, which we still don't even understand. But that all started is to go that, so we have neurons for this. We've got things called the society of mind. Each neuron kind of does different things, and then all these very minute portions in the brain do very particular things. That's why when they do fMRI studies, blood is flowing to these areas. We know that this area controls this thing. Have you ever heard of something called mirror neurons? So when it comes to this, so to get back to autism and looking at mirror neurons, because when they were studying monkey brains, a part of the motor cortex that fires up when you act something out, but that same part of the motor cortex would fire up when the monkeys would observe other monkeys doing an activity. And so the colloquial term was a mirror neuron. All of a sudden, it's like you could learn it by watching someone else do it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Right? So that's what mirror neurons became. So there's actual specific neurons to observe behavior
and learn it
just by viewing it, and then you trying to act it out yourself.
Well, that's like if you visualize something enough. Like there was a case where there was a prisoner who reenacted an escape in his head like tens of thousands of times, never performed it, but then when it got to performing it,
he could do it.
It was like he'd done it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Because he just, in his mind, just every step, just like learning and learning, just in his own head, just making the route of like, oh, I'm going to jump out this fucking window and then this guard's going to walk past at this time.
Do that.
Just repetition of in his brain. And so when he got to doing it, it's like when people visualize fights. It's like when Alex Pereira was looking at Yuri and was like,
I could see that coming.
He's going to do this.
He does that. He lowers his hands. I can hit him with the head kick because all of a sudden, if his hand's that low, he's already...
In his head, he's just visualizing it. He knows as soon as he does this, I'm just going to switch and I'm going to fucking dome him.
Well, that's just part of what our brains seem to be very good at.
Connor and Aldo.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Yeah. But look at it. So scenario building inside your own head. But we're a premonition machine. That's almost our brains live in the future. Because what is it that we do? And why do we always say, what do all the great teachers always preach? Live in the moment. Because we don't. It's almost like, what's the Kierkegaard quote? It's like we're doomed to live in the past because if you think too much in the past, all it does is cause you fucking depression because you're just living too much in the past. Live in the future, it just causes anxiety. And then you live too much in the present moment and it just causes a lot of stress. He's just saying that life can only be understood looking backwards but must be lived forwards.
Speaking of, would you go backwards or forwards?
Oh, you were talking about, with manners, right? Where you were saying, would you go back or forward? Go forward.
You go forward?
You go
How many
forward.
years?
300.
Oh, that's fucking bold.
300 years.
I reckon 100's enough.
I want to see 300. I want to see how fucking hectic it got at 300.
Oh, like UFC 300, but with life.
I think I know rapid changes are coming, and hopefully I still be alive for like 50 years.
300.
So you could see that. So I need to jump maybe 500. 3 to 500.
2,524.
Something still recognizable.
Fuck, that's a number.
Something that's still recognizable to us, because if you say like
That won't be
2,000, if you say 5,000,
Dude,
like,
what were we doing 500 years ago?
so it would still be recognizable. We're still upright. We're still living in communities. We're still living in buildings.
What
we
was
build
500
things out.
years ago?
Mongols.
Is that recognizable?
There's humans, there's animals, there's,
Is that recognizable?
Things around.
It's just these little 5'4" fucking Mongolians running around killing everyone.
What's crazy is like just cyberspace takes over.
Would you go? Where would you go if you go back?
If I could go back, I've said this. Ancient Egypt would
go to Egypt.
Would be pretty dope.
I seen a thing about how they did the pyramids the other day, or how they think they did the pyramids the other day, and it makes sense. They use water.
Yeah. What about? There's so many theories about.
That makes the most sense to me. It makes more sense than aliens.
Pyramid could be a battery. I mean, it was like built for a battery. The fact that rollers on sand is the basic one that they say. It's like, they could just roll the stones.
I think I'd want to see the Jesus.
Him getting crucified, or him being alive.
I just want to see if it was real.
See if he was real. I think he was real.
I think it was real.
I don't think he was he was a medicine man back then. I don't think there's this idea though. Do we ever? Like for a long time, people have believed in magic.
I want to go back to Connor Aldo. I want to go back to the morning of Connor versus Aldo. That pub day was amazing.
I was at a mate's house. I was like, oh, it's over. And he was like, it's over already? I was like, there was good fights on that card.
I threw a fucking chair at the Christie's.
Oh,
I was like that amped up. I was like, this is the wildest shit I've ever seen at that time.
Yeah. I think one of the wildest ones was I was at the pub for when Holly Holm knocked out Rousey.
Oh, I was at the Christie's as well, and that was like, whoa.
And my first thought is broke through a glass and goes, just yells and throws a glass in the ground. And my remember look at each other and just go, how much money did he just lose, you reckon?
Oh, a bag.
Yeah,
a big bag.
He just lost a bundle.
A bag. Because if you were betting on Ronda, you were at the time you were probably betting in the 4 or 5 digits.
I also still remember for that fight, you could pick the minute she was going to armbar her and bet money on that.
Was it second round?
Second round KO, yep.
Yeah.
Beat her up in the first and then did the Matador and KO'd her in the second.
Oh, beat the shit out of her and she never was the same.
She didn't.
She still isn't.
Not after the home. But
she was blaming her mouth guard now.
Oh, mate. And then she's written books now. It's just, she's looking at when Travis Brown beat the shit out of Sharp and she was like, yeah, this is for Ronda. And it was like, what world are you living in?
There's another fucking idiot as well, Schwab. He's a dickhead, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going.
Do you
Fighter on the Kid's been, 12 or 13 years now? Been long.
Yeah, he just has these moments.
2012 it came out.
He has these really stupid moments.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dunce. He's not exactly putting himself in good graces for someone that does fight content to ever go to the UFC. I mean, even when Rogan asked for tickets and Dana's
they still have fucking... Rogan didn't even have him at the mothership.
No, because he stopped doing comedy now.
Yeah, because he's shit at it. But
but he's also looking after his kids. That's what he says.
Yeah, but he wasn't selling tickets to his tours.
He was at first.
There's a page on YouTube now, Australian guy, called Podcast Cringe.
Oh, yeah.
He follows like the JRE, Seguras, like just that whole group. He watches all of their podcasts and he rags on them.
Yeah. I follow a different one than the podcast.
And it really is like, oh, they're fucking boomers now. Like Bert Kreischer's fall is just, I cannot stand listening to him anymore.
I've not listened. The only time even if he was on Rogan, I'm not even sure I'd listen to the full episode.
I wouldn't. I
definitely don't go seeking him out at this stage.
I don't mind Segura, but even Andrew Schultz, I don't really listen to Schultz anymore.
I don't listen to Schultz on Flagrant unless he has a guest again that I want to listen to. I haven't.
Well, I think Lex Friedman has one of the best podcasts. He's just really hard to follow.
Yeah,
sometimes
Friedman's one of my main ones.
He's not the best at which is fair enough. He doesn't have to put things in layman's terms because he's a smart dude. But it's not as approachable.
Yeah.
For someone who isn't as academic.
Yeah, that's not as academic.
I fucking struggle some episodes.
Well, especially when they go into the very, my little giddiness comes from understanding because they're using language and words sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where that comes from.
I don't.
That's my little hee. But so it's fun. I don't want that all the time either.
I watched him and Commander Fravor for 7 minutes, and I was like, "This is way above my pay grade."
Right.
What was the one Joe Rogan did with that fucking actor, the fucking spud of a cunt?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Who was
one
it?
Is fucking one.
One times one
is
is not two. Yeah. Fucking. Dude, what was his name?
Oh,
because he was calling out Neil deGrasse, and then I watched the Neil deGrasse rebuttal. Terrence Howard. There you go. Well, there you go.
Does that hurt your brain? Does that hurt your brain looking at that?
I did not mind listening to it, but...
Did you get amped up a bit? Were you like, I see where it's coming from? Did you get fooled?
I didn't get fooled. But I just, because he throws out these names, like look at the people that did this work, and then immediately when you brought that up to a Neil deGrasse Tyson or anyone that actually has an academic standing,
Neil deGrasse Tyson domed him in the most respectable but disrespectful.
He broke down everything, and then because he disses him, and he's like, but he actually wrote you a whole rebuttal and lined out everything.
That was his fuck you. That was his fuck you because he goes, I'm going to treat you like I would treat one of my peers. So he was shitting on him already.
That's what he did. Because you realize in science, that's what do you think when they do, when they have to send their paper off and they have to get it vouched for?
By other scientists.
Yeah. And what do you think that is before it gets published? It's so that people can actually poke holes in everything. And what do you think that does? It hurts your fucking feelings because this could be your pet project. This is what you believe. This is how you really truly view the world. This is how you think reality. Scientists are breaking down reality. They're trying to understand the fucking world that we live in, how our brain interacts with the world, with the society, and break it down at all these different levels. Psychologically, physically, chemically, biologically, all these different ways. And then they have to test it by doing experiments and then reproducing it and then getting other people to sign off on it. That's the knowledge machine. That's how science works. And it's fucking tedious and it's boring, but that's what makes it effective. So when people unfortunately come out with absolutes and he's
fucking insane, but he can't be completely stupid because he's not stupid. Just his ability to recite, to relay knowledge that he has in his head is impressive.
Yeah.
Like that, to keep the same story for fucking 30 years or whatever is impressive. Like you can't be a total fucking idiot.
No, but he's not off the rails.
But he is he's a fucking lunatic.
You know what it is though?
Yeah, he's a fucking actor.
Too much
Hollywood.
Too much individual though. Look at me. I can play this person. I can play that person. Like, where are you in there?
Cocaine and women on tap is not good for anyone.
Yeah, well, because he's had 4 wives or some shit as well, and
fucking 600 mistresses and
who was it? Is it Chris Brown that they're coming out because he's got like 12 kids?
I've seen him trending on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter, but he was in the trending one today.
It was something about he's got like 12 kids, and then someone brought it up to him, and he was just like, "No, I'm not getting a vasectomy. Like, why would I?"
He's going to shoot him up.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just still going. I'm repopulating the earth by myself. One boy at a time.
If he's paying for him.
That's the thing, why you've got the money.
Oh my God, 12 kids. That would be a fucking chunk of money for him.
Crazy, right? Yeah, the alimony and the child support for the amount of money he makes as a famous musician. Out of control.
Well, it is a school night.
It is.
And it is -7 degrees in this shit.
If you can't see, if you're not watching on video, I wore this shirt because I wanted to show it off. But I made the mistake of not wearing a jumper and I'm fucking freezing in Sav's
It is actually
podcast studio out here.
-7 degrees.
It's chilly tonight out here.
This has to be the coldest night I remember in Adelaide in a long time.
Yeah, it's bloody chilly. I'm looking forward to getting to my seat warmers and my heater in my car, that's for sure.
What's the fucking weather right now?
I bet you it's only like, it would be not -7. I bet you it's like 7 degrees.
No, I reckon it'd be about, 6-7 degrees. Yeah, there you
7
go, on the money.
7 degrees.
So in the shed, it's fucking 5.
Yeah, it's chilly around here. Sav's giving me that chill stare. I might have to hit one of these up just before the drive, mate, just to sign off on that. Just to sign off on the podcast.
Really like...
Yeah, I know. Oh. Woo! Oh yeah.
Thanks for watching. Always a pleasure.
And subscribe. Love you, mate.
Love you too, buddy.